position. A suburban Chicago man who admitted to supplying a fatal dose of heroin to an acquaintance has been sentenced to 14 years in prison. Jackie Dunklin of Glen Ellen was accused of supplying the drug to James Maulding, who was found unresponsive in early January of 2017 by Addison police in his home. A female was also found suffering from an apparent heroin overdose. Maulding could not be revived and was pronounced dead at the scene. A retired Illinois Department of Corrections officer who was beaten outside of his suburban Chicago home has died. Hazel Crest Police Chief Mitchell Davis says Keith Chamble was pronounced dead on Tuesday. The 60-year-old had been on life support since the February 6 attack. Police say Chamble was attacked by two men after he stepped out of his car in the driveway of his Hazel Crest home. Family spokeswoman Shanae Cross says home surveillance video captured the beating, and family members are pushing police to release it. The founder and senior pastor of a well-known Chicago area megachurch is out of a job. Harvest Bible Chapel elders yesterday announcing James McDonald has been fired for conduct believed to be contrary and harmful to the best interest of the church. It comes nearly a month after church elders said McDonald was taking an indefinite sabbatical. It's not just the minimum wage, though that's a big part of the concern. Job group leaders in Illinois say they're worried at the speed at which Governor J.B. Pritzker is pushing to change the state's business climate to a negative and how much more money he wants to spend. The group says the real worry is the new administration is moving too fast for many communities outside of Chicago. A little more than 2 years after Illinois lawmakers approved a $200 million bailout for Exelon's nuclear plants in the Quad Cities and central Illinois, the company says it may need more help. Cranes yesterday had a story saying Exelon is threatening to close plants again in Byron, Dresden, and Braidwood. The company says the plants aren't profitable. Cubs are planning to launch their own regional sports network next year. The club announced it's partnering with Sinclair Broadcast Group to create Marquee. The network will begin broadcasting in 2020, carrying all available Cubs games, pre and post, original Cubs-related content, and other live sports programming, but they're not saying where that will come from. Former Chicago home of an infamous gangster, Al Capone, is up for sale. The Park Manor home is on the market for $110,000. It's a 2,800 square foot home with 6 bedrooms. Capone moved into the home in 1923 with his wife and mother, both of whom were listed as the owners of that home. Otto Porter Jr. scored a career-high 37 in the Bulls' 122-110 win over the Grizzlies at the UC. And Porter said last night he's still adjusting to the Bulls' offensive system.
Still learning a lot, but they're able to get me to my spots. My teammates do a good job of finding me, and I'm doing my job of, scoring and, making my buckets. So.
Robin Lopez added 25 in the Bulls' win. Blackhawks host New Jersey tonight. Cubs bolster their bullpen. Team assigned lefty reliever Xavier Cedeno, who operated out of the White Sox pen last year. Fighting Illini in Columbus to battle Ohio State tonight in men's college hoops. In other action, Northwestern lost to Rutgers 59-56. Bradley in the Valley beat first-place Loyola 61-54. The news service of Hellsberg Diamonds. Today is Valentine's Day. What gift are you getting for the one you love? Save $400 on the half-carat total-weight diamond heart pendant. It's now only $299.99. Show Cupid who's boss this Valentine's Day today at Hellsberg Diamonds. It's 5:09, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling success stories of thriving, successful businesses. Hey, if that's you, tell us about it. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
Let's think about customization presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable? Like, why do I have to pay a full gym membership when I don't even use all the equipment? Like the rowing machine. I don't know about you, but I'm not doing a ton of manual lake travel these days.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, equal housing insurer.
Looking for ways to save with your Medicare plan? Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy with many plans nationwide, which could mean lower copays for you. So bring your prescriptions to a Walgreens pharmacy today to start saving. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Walgreens participates as a preferred network pharmacy with United Healthcare, Cigna HealthSpring, and Express Scripts Medicare. For a complete list of available plans, please contact 1-800-MEDICARE. TTY users should call 1-877-486-2048. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or consult www.medicare.gov. Other pharmacies are available in our network.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. We've all heard what the big banks have been doing. Time to call Townstone. I guarantee you can have confidence when calling me at 312-896-2110 or going to townstone.com that our only interest is getting you the best refinance deal available and to make sure your home purchase closes on time and without headaches. Great news, we have several new home mortgage programs. The first is a jumbo mortgage program that only requires a 15% down payment without any mortgage insurance. The second is a bank statement program which allows business owners and self-employed borrowers to finally qualify for a mortgage even if they don't show much income on their tax returns. Had a bankruptcy, short sale, or deed in lieu 12 months ago and want to purchase a new house? We have a program for you too. All programs have restrictions, so give me a call now at 312-896-2110. Remember, nobody values your home purchase business more than Townstone. I guarantee it. I own the company. That's 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
Peloton is a game-changing indoor cycling bike that brings the energy of live studio classes right to your home anytime you want. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom.
It's 5:12. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
The inbound Kennedy Expressway remains closed between Diversey and Fullerton as police investigate a shooting. The expressway traffic in the local lanes is forced off the expressway at Diversey. The express lanes are open. Drivers cannot leave the express lanes at Diversey. IDOT is allowing trucks into the express lane. We're not seeing significant delays to the express. Inbound work at the Burns Circle has cleared, reopening the ramp at the App on Eisenhower after an overnight closure. The App on Ryan has work 87th split the 3 right lanes. We're not seeing delays on the Ryan right now. Bishop Ford a little congested approaching the Verge. There are closures downtown at Adams and Franklin due to falling glass and ice. It's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Cloudy skies. It'll be a bit milder today. A shower in spots for the afternoon. High 44. Partly cloudy, breezy tonight and a low at 11. Mostly cloudy. Cold day for tomorrow and a daytime high at 24. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer. 37 at O'Hare, 37 along the lakefront. It is 34 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Amy. Happy Valentine's.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It's Valentine's Day.
Oh, I see you wore red.
Yeah.
I'm sure you planned that too when you woke up this morning. I'm going to put on some red for the holiday.
You know how I like to get into the holiday swing of things.
Oh, yeah.
No question about it. And that calls to mind the question of the best, most creative ad campaign this Valentine's Day season, because I really consider it more of a season than just a singular day.
It's kind of the month of February, builds you up to Valentine's Day. That's when they all have all the trinkets out and candies.
There's no question.
Shoving it down our throats that you have to be loved by somebody today.
I'm
not bitter.
Right.
No, I'm not.
I'm
I
sure
just-
you
Did
you have to make one of those little Valentine's Day mailboxes in grade school, and you would get all the Valentines from everybody in the class, and I would sit there and get no Valentines.
No, I mean, back then.
I would have to make up.
Back then, you could choose to be nice to people. Now you have to be nice to everybody, honestly, because you can't just bring one.
It's true.
Because we don't want to make anybody feel bad or less loved than other kids.
But here's the thing. You know
my box was overflowing.
Still, though.
My box was overflowing. It was the best.
You still know, though, that even in this day where you have to give Valentine's Day to everybody, participation trophy, the kids still indicate who they really don't want to give a Valentine's Day card to. They kind of like I had to do this. So I know that look because that's the look I get. I used to get and still get in so many respects.
Was your box a quarter way full? Did you get any B mines or you got
the ones that I entered into my box?
The ones that you self-wrote.
Very, very much Ralph Wiggum-ish was my Valentine's Day. So here are the entrants. Best marketing for Valentine's Day, marketing campaign, ad campaign. The combination of Coke, which I think their earnings report today. I wonder if this will be reflected. Coke and Delta Airlines.
Yeah, because Coke's based in Atlanta and Delta's in Atlanta, so they teamed up to do something fun in the sky. It's like the early Mile High Club, right?
Nothing, by the way, says Valentine's Day like an earnings report. The napkins on Delta Airlines flights. I'm trying to get to this all week. I guess Valentine's Day is an opportune
I blogged
time.
about it yesterday. I wanted to know if you've ever had a plane crush. Do you know what that is? When you walk on your plane and you think, oh, that guy's hot. I want to get to know him. And Delta helped you meet the guy next to you.
No,
You've
that's
never
not-
had a plane crush?
That's a thing? What's a plane?
Oh, my gosh. You know how you get a crush, but it's called a plane crush.
Who calls it that besides you?
Oh, no, a lot of people do.
Uh-huh.
A lot of my girlfriends say, oh, I was on a plane, the guy in seat 2C. I had a plane crush on him.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever been
Stewardess.
delivered a drink by somebody saying, hey, that guy in row 1C wants you to have this?
No.
Oh, I have. You haven't had that happen?
Have I had a guy buy me a drink on a plane? No. I haven't. So it's interesting you find that surprising.
Yeah, it's a plane crush.
Here's the Delta Airlines Coca-Cola napkin.
It's the best thing.
Because you're on a plane full of interesting people and hey, ... ellipsis is what we call that. You never
Words
know.
with Prof.
Because you're on a plane full of interesting people and hey, ... you never know. And that created sort of a backlash, people calling that creepy.
Yeah, but then the other side of the napkin, you have to put your name down and what seat you're in. So if you flip that side over that you read, it says your name and then what row number you're in. It's awesome. Then the flight attendant delivers it to that person, and then you've got a plane crush. Yeah.
That is creepy.
That's not creepy at all. Some fun in the sky, Dan. Good way to kill 4 hours. And then maybe you get the person next to you to switch seats so that you could sit next to your plane crush.
This is going in the direction of the Mile High Club, and I don't want to go there. Dennis in Crystal Lake has a Valentine's Day message.
Dan, I've been there too many times. Don't worry about it.
What?
Hey, Amy, I got the old the box thing, and it's visualized in my head, and I'm getting sick. But anyways,
okay.
The only reason for this day is for me to take and not give. I want chocolate.
Okay, Dennis, we'll get some
I'll
chocolate.
put it in your
to
mailbox.
Stat. What? I want chocolate. Okay.
And I want chocolate now.
All right. So there's you're on a plane full of interesting people, and hey, ... you never know. That's one. And this.
Well, yeah, they yanked it because somebody on Twitter said it was creepy, and now they have to be politically correct, and they take out all the fun for flying.
I don't know that that makes it fun, but okay, sure. It's sort of.
You can also put your phone number on the napkin too.
I have the napkin holder. I suppose.
Well, they have a line too for your cell phone number if you want to put that in.
Great. You've really researched this. The other entrant, Reebok Russia.
Yeah, well, you mentioned this yesterday. What is this?
Reebok.
Well, I know.
And in Russia.
Wait, that big country over there?
Yeah. The ad campaign, sit not on the needle of men's approval, sit on men's face.
I'm not going to say anything about anything. I'm so tempted to say something, but I'm thinking before I speak. Is there a picture associated with the?
There were pictures.
Oh, of women sitting on men's faces?
There were provocative pictures.
Oh, I'm looking that up right now.
Unfortunately, after the publication of some pictures, it became clear that part of the content could not be published on behalf of the brand due to the age policy of the social network, said Reebok Russia. Reebok Russia's marketing director resigned over this ad campaign.
Did?
The company showed disrespect for itself. It signed up to this, approved all the quotes, and was even delighted with how bold and interesting and in line with the global strategy to do something bright and unusual. There are two parts to the ad, in case you missed them. Sit not on the needle of men's approval, sit on men's face is the slogan. The two parts, approval, right, and pleasure, yeah. Mm-hmm. The first part, again, according to the marketing whiz over at Reebok Russia, the first part calls for being yourself. The second part calls for people to give pleasure to each other.
Okay.
That's a real Valentine's Day zinger, huh?
I have banned myself from discussing this.
You're not going to.
I'm looking at some of the pictures.
Be patronizing.
I see where
Reebok
they're going
Russia.
with this. But I understand why the marketing manager resigned over this.
Yeah. Remember, I haven't even thought about Reebok in a long time. The last time I thought about Reebok, it was when...
owned a pair of Reeboks?
No. The last time I thought about Reebok was when D. Brown pumped himself up with the Reebok pumps before he won the dunk contest. Remember?
That's right.
D. Brown, the Celtics?
I had a pair of Reebok high tops. Surprised you didn't. But then again, I was a player.
Yeah. As everybody in athletics knows, the players were Reebok.
Oh.
No.
Two of them were
Never.
Reeboks.
Never.
Reeboks.
That was like when it was like guys who had like rolled up jeans that were cuffed.
Right, and that was my era. We'd wear rolled up jeans that were cuffed, and then you have your Reeboks on.
How old are you?
Cream? No, thank you. I take it black. Like my man.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie, people have spring fever. Consumer confidence is up, and that means spending. We want folks to enjoy what they've worked so hard for, but don't forget...
Craig, are you trying to tell me something? I know. Retirement's right around the corner.
Listen, a new season is time for regrowth and building on what you already have. You don't need to do it alone if you have Wealth Management Group at your side.
Spring into action and make Wealth Management Group your go-to partner. And listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Hate to interrupt your conversation, guys, but I have very important news about Balance of Nature. Instead of shoving chocolate down your throat this morning and sweet candy, do something healthy for yourself and get a bottle of Balance of
Don't
Nature.
tell Dennis from his Crystal Lake that.
Yeah, Dennis, the chocolate's on its way. Because you know what also, too? Valentine's Day, this time of year, cold and flu season also in Chicago. Look around the office. Everyone's coughing and sneezing. And if you want to avoid getting sick, then you know that you need to give your immune system a boost. And a great way to do that is with the fruits and veggies from Balance of Nature. We're all busy, and it's hard to get enough fruits and veggies in our diet, and that's where Balance of Nature comes in. 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies in a capsule to boost your immune system all winter long. Folks, the testimonials you've heard are true. I've met Dr. Douglas Howard, the founder and creator of Balance of Nature. He showed me the emails from real people who use Balance of Nature to get healthier and, more importantly, to stay healthy. Don't wait another day. Try it now before you get sick. And you get that 35% off when you order by using promo code Chicago. Go online right now, balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago. Buy it for your wife, your girlfriend. It would make a great Valentine's Day gift. Balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago.
I want chocolate.
Even in my own home, I had my own designated space to smoke. If I think about it, it really was like I was punishing myself. A friend of mine said, why wouldn't you just try the Juul? And so I went out and I bought one. The idea of going back to smoking, I couldn't even imagine doing that. I don't think anyone, including myself, thought that I could switch.
Carolyn made the switch October 2016. Make the switch at JUUL.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hello, I'm Matthew Hickey from the law office of Matthew J. Hickey. In my 21 years of practice, I've seen a lot, learned a lot, and know who does what best. So, if you have a criminal matter from traffic issues to potential prison time, I'm your guy. If you or a loved one has been hurt, or worse, and you don't want to call a firm whose namesake faces a second federal trial in April, give me a call. My network of attorneys with years of experience and millions recovered will listen, inform, and help you through a difficult time, and are in no way affiliated with any ex-aldermen, soon-to-be federal inmates. You shouldn't have to compromise your principles when you need help. The justice system is designed to intimidate you. I'm here to even that score.
For ethical, informed legal representation, call Matt directly at 312-767-7631. That's 312-767-7631. Or go to his website, MatthewHickeyLaw.com, and send him an email. Remember, the best defense is the best defense attorney.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results may vary. See website for details.
But hey, I'm buying a huge flat screen TV so I can finally see it without my glasses.
Why not just get LASIK at the LASIK Vision Institute? That's what I'm doing.
My glasses and contacts are a pain. I'd love to finally get rid of these, but who can afford LASIK?
You can. Because the LASIK Vision Institute is offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye with an absolutely free consultation. Text START to 350350. The LASIK Vision Institute has already performed over 1 million procedures. They use advanced FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for a fraction of what others charge. Better vision, better value. The LASIK Vision Institute. Make this the year you finally get LASIK for as low as $220 per eye. Text START to 350350. You'll see for free if LASIK is right for you. That's START to 350350.
AM 560. The answer.
Just rounding out some Valentine's Day matters. Tinder for cows. Tinder for
Wait,
cows.
which one is the gay? Is it Grindr or Tinder? Which one's the gay apps? App?
I'm not falling into that trap. Nice
No.
try. I have no idea.
I don't. All right, fine. I'll Google it then.
Uh.
If I can't get it from Dan, I Google. All
Tinder
right?
for cows, and I'm not talking about the audience of The View.
Wait, Tinders are hookups, right? Where you just want to get together and have a little fun.
Nice
Play
try.
a little patty cake.
Nice try. Not
Come
happening.
on, Dan.
A British startup has launched a Tinder-style app called Tutter. Oh, like udder. Tutter.
Oh, Tutter. I
Tutter.
get it.
Yeah.
I see what they're doing there.
To hook farmers up with cows. No, not in that way. Get your mind out of the gutter. There it is.
Bestiality does not
Tell
ring
Scott the
here.
cow guy this.
Oh, I know what Grindr is.
Okay. Welcome to the internet and the app world. The app Tutter allows farmers to find breeding matches by viewing pictures of cattle with details of their age, location, and owner.
I see.
It's positively innocuous and business oriented.
Sure.
Users hear a mooing sound as they swipe. That's a right swipe to show the cows some love, and a left is to nix the bovine's affections. If there's a match, the app shows a heart and the words match found. The icon of the app is a big red udder.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, it's sort of disgusting, isn't it? Huh. Also,
everybody needs to be loved, Dan.
Hearts go out to San Francisco. San Francisco, full of young tech entrepreneurs and so forth. There's a problem, though, and it's not because they don't have Tutter. It's because everybody's polyamorous there and poly everything.
Polyamorous words with Proft.
It's just, anything goes. And so as this complaint forum on Reddit points out, everybody is poly. It's pretty funny how people can have different views and experiences that vary so much. My friends from New York complained that everyone wants a relationship. They all miss the quick flings. In the Bay Area, the complaint is polyamorous. It's just, they're trying to hook up with cattle and everything else under the sun.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Jussie Smollett breaks his silence, offers his first interview on the attack that he allegedly suffered on GMA this morning.
Was he being real or was that acting? And also, ex-Chicago cop Jason Van Dyke beaten in prison. We'll give you some more details, but first let's get into the newsroom. Apparently there was a shooting on the inbound Kennedy we're just hearing.
Lanes are blocked on the inbound Kennedy in Chicago following reports of that shooting. The incident happened early this morning near Diversey. Jim Telemonte. We'll have details on that coming up, and there's ice falling from buildings this morning. That's causing some major street closures in the Loop. Franklin, Jackson, Wells, and Adams for now. Some vehicles and building windows have sustained some major damage. Congress finished writing a new border security bill that, if signed by the president, would avoid another partial government shutdown. The bill, completed late last night by a bipartisan group of negotiators. Florida Republican Congressman Ted Yoho believes the president should sign the deal.
Understand this, though. This is not about a wall. This is about border security. It's all of the above, whether it's physical barriers, whether it's more boots on the ground, or if it's more technology. It has to be done to protect the American citizens.
It does not fulfill the president's request for nearly $6 billion for building a wall. The president himself says he's waiting on the deal to come to his desk.
But we have not gotten it yet. It'll be sent to us at some point, and we'll take a very serious look at it.
Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy this morning says he's unsure the president will even sign the measure. Federal judge says former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort lied to the special counsel's team and breached his plea agreement. The decision, announced yesterday, means Manafort is unlikely to get a lighter sentence for crimes he pled to that right now, according to the special counsel, have nothing to do with the special counsel's investigation into Russian collusion. A measles outbreak in New York State continues to worsen with more than 200 cases reported. Orthodox Jewish communities in Brooklyn and Rockland reported almost a dozen new cases in the last week. Odds may still favor the eventual construction of former President Barack Obama's $500 million museum and library in a public park along Chicago's lakeshore, but it is no longer a sure thing in the face of today's formidable legal challenge by a parks advocacy group. And a U.S. District Judge, John Blakey, will hear arguments today in Chicago on a motion by city attorneys to try and toss that lawsuit by Protect Our Parks. Family, friends, and colleagues remembered Chicago Police Commander Paul Bauer 1 year after his killing. Hundreds gathered yesterday for a memorial at the Thompson Center in the Loop. And look what they found in the Pacific Ocean. History buffs, and especially World War II buffs, were all over this yesterday. Researchers say they have found the USS Hornet, the World War II aircraft carrier that was sunk during the Battle of Santa Cruz Islands in 1942. The Hornet is nearly 3 miles below the surface of the Pacific Ocean near the Solomon Islands. The Hornet was most noted for launching the Doolittle raid against Tokyo and other Japanese sites in April of 1942. It also played a huge role in the Battle of Midway, but met its end October 26th of 1942. The Yorktown-class CV was the last U.S. fleet carrier ever sunk by enemy fire. Otto Porter Jr. scores a career-high 37. The Bulls' 122-110 win over the Grizzlies at the UC. Blackhawks host New Jersey later on tonight. College hoops in the Valley. Bradley beat first place Loyola. The news service of Peloton, live studio classes in the comfort of your own home. Peloton is a game-changing indoor cycling bike that brings the energy of live studio classes right to your home anytime you want. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is just in awe of what's coming from the left.
The infant would be delivered, the infant would be kept comfortable, and then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother.
Let me pick my jaw up off the floor. Let the fact that not a single Democrat seems to be denouncing this evil sink in.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, listen. Did you hear that? That's the sound of silence, the absent sound of your loved one's laugh, the phone that never rings, the void left because you convinced yourself their addiction was under control. Don't let the shame of addiction prevent you from addressing their disease. USA Addiction knows that the first step is the hardest. That's why they help guide you through the journey to recover with care and compassion. Their nationally certified family recovery coaches lead you every step of the way, from a free initial conversation to planning an intervention to finding the best facility that will save your loved one's life. Go to freeaddictionbook.com and enter your email to their confidential portal. You'll receive their free guide to family addiction and intervention and free consultation. And that's freeaddictionbook.com for a real solution to prevent that heartache. Now is the time to take action. USA Addiction, helping Americans one step at a time.
Let's think about customization presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable? Like, why do I have to pay a full gym membership when I don't even use all the equipment? Like the rowing machine. I don't know about you, but I'm not doing a ton of manual lake travel these days.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, equal housing insurer.
Looking for ways to save with your Medicare plan? Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy with many plans nationwide, which could mean lower copays for you. So bring your prescriptions to a Walgreens pharmacy today to start saving. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Walgreens participates as a preferred network pharmacy with United Healthcare, Cigna HealthSpring, and Express Scripts Medicare. For a complete list of available plans, please contact 1-800-MEDICARE. TTY users should call 1-877-486-2048. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or consult www.medicare.gov. Other pharmacies are available in our network.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
5:38. Let's get an update on the roads. Latest on the Kennedy and falling ice in the Loop. In the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim.
The local lanes on the inbound Kennedy remain closed, diverse to Fullerton after an early boarding shooting. Express lanes are open, but there's a jam from Kimball in both the locals and the express. Local lane traffic is forced off the expressway at Diversity. Express lanes are open. Trucks are allowed on those express lanes. There is no access to the Diversity slip ramp, however. Seeing delays this morning on northbound I-55, US 6 to I-80. Now seeing mild delays at the inbound Stevenson Central to Pulaski, the inbound Ryan, Roosevelt to Burns Circle, the inbound Bishop Ford, Cottage Grove merge. In the Loop, streets are blocked off, Adams and Franklin due to falling glass and ice. It's traffic. I'm Chip Talamonte.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy, milder, shower in spots this afternoon. Fairly typical for February. Cold one day, hot the next, high 44, and then we tumble to 11 overnight. 37 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Michael Cohen was supposed to testify yesterday in Congress. He said that he had pain from shoulder surgery.
On AM 560.
Well, on Saturday night, he was out with the boys in New York at a schwanky restaurant. If you're going to call in sick for your congressional testimony, don't go out and party the night before.
The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Jussie Smollett says he's peed off. He is peed off.
Yeah.
All he's done is tell the truth. He's the victim in this case, and he got a little emotional in a preview of his interview that will air this morning on
Good Morning America.
Yeah, Robin Roberts, fresh off her riveting Liam Neeson interview. She's got Jussie Smollett.
She's getting all the good people, isn't she, Dan? Yeah, so it's 6:07. We should have more of this interview. But they let out a little teaser yesterday where he did have tears in his eyes because, gosh darn it, he's the victim.
I'm pissed off. What is it that has you so angry? Is it the attackers? It's the attackers, but it's also the attacks. It's like, at first it was a thing of like, listen, if I tell the truth, then that's it, because it's the truth. Then it became a thing of like, oh, how can you doubt that? Like, how do you not believe that? It's the truth. And then it became a thing of like, oh, it's not necessarily that you don't believe that this is the truth. You don't even want to see the truth.
What in the world did he just say?
I don't know what that means.
When you lie, you got to keep the lie going, so you make up things, grabbing words from the air. I don't know. That was not an answer.
It's not necessarily you don't believe this is the truth. You don't even want to see the truth. So you're not, I guess he means you're not even like open-minded to the possibility of this being true. I don't know. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's a struggle. Here's the question I wonder if Robin Roberts asked. How do you think the Chicago police are handling it? If you're so peed off, what would you say about Chicago police? Because I would like to hear him hold forth on the police investigation. Not even necessarily speculating in why there's no video of his alleged attackers other than the two shadowy lurking suspects caught on the one camera.
We'll get to that.
That are, as somebody pointed out, actually walking away. I think it was CWB Chicago, walking away from where the alleged attack allegedly occurred about 15 to 20 minutes before it occurred. And he addressed that, too, the video.
Yeah, which, by the way, not one tip has been generated from the release of this video of two shadowy figures walking in the night.
Police have gone through a lot of video, and they were able to capture an image of two people of interest. Have you seen that image, and do you believe that they could possibly be the attackers? I do. What is it about their size, or why do you feel that they could possibly be?
Because I was there. I mean, that, for me, when that was released, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't have any doubt in my mind that that's them.
And then when he's answering this question, Dan, I don't know if you're into body language or not, but I've interviewed so many people that when they're talking to you and if they shift down with their eyes and don't look at you and then shift down again the other way, they're not telling the truth. And to me, that was acting. Well, to me, in his heart, I do not believe that he thinks that those two people, were his attackers. He's just saying that because that's all they have.
Well, I would like to hear him expound on that a little bit. And maybe Robin Roberts offered a follow-up. I guess we'll find out in about 20 minutes. You think that's them. Well,
why?
Yeah, why? Specifically, I mean, like, I was there. What does that mean? What about that image is consistent with what you remember about the alleged attackers, or just for the purpose of the interview, remember about the attackers? Are you sure, Jussie, that you're not basing this on the internet meme where somebody superimposed MAGA hats with them carrying a bottle of Clorox and a noose? Are you sure you're not looking at that?
That meme was pretty funny. Here's the thing, though. When I looked at that surveillance of those two shadowy figures, they looked African American to me.
Well, how
they
do you even
didn't
tell?
seem white. They didn't look.
How do you tell?
I don't know. They just.
Well,
to me, they seemed like African Americans. I remember we had Paul Hubel on the show, and he thought one was a woman, but I didn't think that person was a woman. The person to the right could be a woman. So I just think that those people were just walking home from a night out and had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do Rorschach ink blots of those two silhouettes. They just say, all we have is two silhouettes. They're walking away from where the attack allegedly occurred 15 to 20 minutes before it occurred. And you say you think that's them based on what exactly? Because there's two of them, and you said there was two attackers. What is it that indicates to you that it's them? Because you need to find two people on video somewhere and say, yeah, that's got to be them. And
because if it's not them, who else would it be?
Well, I mean, I would also be interested to hear him provide more detail on what exactly happened that night.
And she better ask him about that MAGA comment, too, because more of these that I'm reading of these investigations, they're leaving that out about the MAGA country, that this is MAGA country. And that's piquing my interest, thinking, are they eventually going to say that never happened, that was, an embellishment? And then these phone records that he gave just are so heavily redacted, it doesn't even show the time when the call was made to his manager, allegedly, who he was on the phone with during the attack.
If he criticizes police, that may be, what Chicago police need to get over the hump politically.
Ooh, yeah.
And so that's why I'm interested to hear if he's asked about police or what he has to say about Chicago police. And in addition, even if he's not asked, even if he doesn't say anything critical, look, he's obviously doing damage control here. This is part of a PR campaign. He feels the need to address this publicly in a soft interview on GMA with Robin Roberts, who's going to be sympathetic, going to start from his premise. And Chicago police should take note of that.
Yeah,
because what he's trying to do, if this is false, if this story is false or embellished, what he's doing here is making it more difficult politically, culturally, for Chicago police to hold him accountable. That's what this is largely about. And I hope that maybe there's something where he, provides an avenue that makes it easier, or Chicago police have a real understanding of what he's doing and they don't tolerate it. Again, this is all starting from the alternative premise, which is that what he is saying is not at least completely factual, if not totally made up. That's the part of this I want to hear. Details and how he thinks the investigation is being handled. And I'd be very interested to hear after this interview airs what Chicago police's response is as they're ostensibly moving towards some kind of resolution of this case.
And detectives are going to be watching this interview because they want to know if his story changed. Did he tell us something differently than he's telling Robin Roberts?
Yeah, sure.
On Good Morning America. They always want to know this, and they just sit by the TV and watch and take notes.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're serious about improving your home, why not make it easy? Don't miss the free Home and Garden Show this weekend only at the Arlington Racecourse in Arlington Heights. Find the ultimate in savings and convenience and see hundreds of the latest home products and services for thousands of the freshest ideas in remodeling, repairing, and beautifying your home inside and out. Get trusted advice for all your upcoming projects as you speak with local and national experts eager to help you with all of your home improvement questions. Plus, don't miss the free seminars all weekend, including kitchen design by Normandy Remodeling. See the latest trend in quality outdoor furniture made from recycled materials at Buy the Yard booth, the latest technology in home appliances offered by Grand Appliance, and so much more. From interiors to exteriors, from decor to outdoor, you'll find it all at the Home and Garden Show this weekend from 10 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday at the Arlington Racecourse in Arlington Heights with free admission and free parking. For details, visit homeshowarlington.com. That's homeshowarlington.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Keene Jr. of the Mailhouse Inc., a family-owned and operated digital print mailhouse with a specialty in political advertising and a customer of Signature Bank. We knew that getting a loan to buy our business wouldn't be easy, so we turned to one of our trusted friends for a referral. She told us about the outstanding level of customer service her business received at Signature Bank since becoming one of their first customers in 2006. Today, we couldn't be happier. Not only did Signature help us finance the purchase of the mailhouse, but they supported our growth as we modernized our operations in mailing as well as from traditional to digital printing. If you're looking for a great bank to grow your business, take a look at Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let's think about customization presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable? Like, why do I have to pay a full gym membership when I don't even use all the equipment? Like the rowing machine. I don't know about you, but I'm not doing a ton of manual lake travel these days.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, equal housing insurer.
Looking for ways to save with your Medicare plan? Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy with many plans nationwide, which could mean lower copays for you. So bring your prescriptions to a Walgreens pharmacy today to start saving. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Walgreens participates as a preferred network pharmacy with United Healthcare, Cigna HealthSpring, and Express Scripts Medicare. For a complete list of available plans, please contact 1-800-MEDICARE. TTY users should call 1-877-486-2048. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or consult www.medicare.gov. Other pharmacies are available in our network.
You've invested a lot in your company's resources and reputation, so it's a logical next step to consider implementing or upgrading a commercial security system to protect your company and assets. Of course, you want to maximize ROI, so it's important to weigh the pros and cons of a business security system and determine how simple or complex of a system your business may need. Business security systems range in size and scale from simple individual alarm and camera systems to fully integrated complex designs that incorporate access control, CCTV, and management from a single platform across multiple sites. 2 Secure Inc., Chicagoland's business security experts, use the newest technology and can reduce costs by reusing your existing hardware and cable infrastructure. 2 Secure is offering a free, no-obligation, live, on-site CCTV demo. See for yourself how a new or upgraded security system can work for your business. Call 708-990-4408 or visit 2secure.com, 708-990-4408, or online at the number 2secureinc.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, over-designed, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 4343 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 4343. Enjoy.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think too, until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it, trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free, no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now. 1-800-600-9519. That's 1-800-600-9519. 1-800-600-9519.
It's Dr. David Kolbaba.
It's our winter survival kit for this cold and flu season. It's power-packed with natural ingredients, and unlike the flu shot, it's safe and effective. First, it's our Sunny C1000. It's highly absorbable, and it does not suppress your body's natural killer cells like most other vitamin C supplements do. And when you purchase your first bottle of our Sunny C1000, I promise to include scientific data to back it up. And I'll also include a vitamin C dosage chart for you to customize how much is best for you, whether you're fighting off a cold or flu or you want a preventative dose to keep you from getting a cold or flu. Sunny C1000, it's easy on the stomach and it's essential in fighting illness. And when you order your Sunny C1000 today, be sure to get more information on the rest of our winter survival kit. Call 800-794-1855. It's our Health Quest Radio hotline. And be sure to listen to Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11. But for now, that number again, 800-794-1855.
AM 560.
The Answer. Dan and Amy, press conference this morning that features Tiffany Van Dyke, the wife of Jason Van Dyke, talking about his situation in prison after reportedly he was beaten up while in prison before he was put in isolation.
Well, and we don't even know if he was going to isolation. This is the thing. He was in a prison in Rock Island, Illinois, transferred to the federal prison system to a low-security prison in Danbury, Connecticut. And it's not clear why he was transferred. All we know is he was assaulted by inmates, plural, and he has facial injuries, but is expected to be okay.
According to the press release announcing this press conference, Van Dyke was kept in isolation, had no issues with other inmates while jailed in Illinois.
Right, but then they transferred him
Tuesday, right, during a conversation with his lawyers, Van Dyke told them he had been beaten up by other inmates 4 hours after arriving at the new prison. He said he had been put in general population and he was attacked in his cell. Then on Wednesday, Van Dyke's attorneys report they received an anonymous call from an employee at the Danbury prison who gave more details about the beating and said he was worried about Van Dyke's safety.
Yeah. So many people are upset, former police officers and current police officers. They want Governor J.B. Pritzker to commute Van Dyke's sentence immediately before he gets murdered in prison.
Not going to happen.
Oh, in fact, the opposite is happening. This week, our new Attorney General for Illinois, Kwame Raoul, wanted to revoke his prison sentence, and extend it.
This is a question of law, and it's in the interest of justice that the law be followed no matter who the defendant and no matter who the victim is in a particular case.
So they believe the judge improperly applied the law in his sentencing.
He wants Van Dyke resentenced and given more time. Is
Exactly.
What Kwame Raoul wants.
Yeah. And I mean, Kwame, you already won the election, okay? Sit down, shut up, leave Jason Van Dyke alone. Honestly, this is so ridiculous. This is a publicity stunt for him because he's going to be, I'm going to be the new big guy, Illinois' #1 attorney. I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to take a stand. No, just stop it. Go after like some defaulty crib somewhere like Lisa Madigan used to do.
Well, Kwame Raoul's a race hustler. That's what we like. So he's doing it. That's what we do in Chicago and Illinois. And that's who we elect. Kwame Raoul, remember, Kwame Raoul is an Obama protege.
Oh, I know, yeah.
For those who don't, didn't pay much attention, don't care, understand. Candace in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Kwame Raoul is from the Obama Preckwinkle apparatus. Did I say that word right?
Yes, sort of.
You
said it right. That's not exactly the word
I
would
can't
use.
stand him. What he's doing is, and I think that the puppet strings, in my opinion, are being pulled by Preckwinkle, who cannot say anything herself because she's running for mayorship. So that's my opinion. I know how Preckwinkle works. I used to live in her ward. Unfortunately, she used to be my alderman, and he would follow her around like a sick puppy dog, while she was alderman. So that's who I think is really behind this push.
Thanks for the call, Candace. Well, here's the thing. It's one of those things where nothing needs to be said because they all come from the same perspective. As I said, they're all race hustlers. They're race racketeers, to borrow a Bob Woodsonism. So you don't have to tell Kwame Raoul to do anything because that's naturally what they've been weaned to do. But I mean, Jason Van Dyke, his fortunes are not going to change.
No.
Other than maybe how he is imprisoned in Danbury.
Yeah, or transfer him to Terre Haute, where he's closer to his family, and it might be a little safer atmosphere for him.
George Ryan prison.
Yeah. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We have more details on the border security funding deal. I don't think most people are going to like them at 6:06.
But first, let's hit it. The newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Jesse Smollett angry with those who doubt his attack claims. Falling ice leading to street closures this morning in Chicago. The Cubs say, we're on our own, launching our own regional sports network next year. Bulls beat the Grizzlies. Blackhawks host the Devils tonight. WIND Chicago News Time. It is 6 o'clock.
First the Senate, then the House will vote. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. On the bill finally released late last night to avert another government shutdown.
It came out while we're all in bed asleep. Here we're waking up in the morning, getting going, and finding out that we've got nearly 1,200 pages worth of bills in front of us.
Republican Congressman Jody Hice does not support this bipartisan compromise, calling the wall funding in it a drop in the bucket, a quarter of what President Trump wants. Now, he says he'll read the bill carefully.
We'll be looking for landmines, because you could have that. You know, it's been known to happen before to people.
But Democratic Congressman Steny Hoyer worries the president could try to blow up the deal last minute, saying he has before. Paul Manafort's plea deal with the special counsel in the Russia probe voided in court. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, a federal judge sided with prosecutors in the Russia probe, ruling that Manafort's plea deal no longer stands, meaning he could spend the rest of his life in prison. Manafort was accused of lying about several matters, including about discussions with an alleged former Russian spy, Konstantin Kilimnik, about a Ukrainian peace deal, and about sharing polling data with Kilimnik during the 2016 presidential campaign. Manafort has already been convicted of bank and tax fraud and will be sentenced on March 13th. Dave.
Rachel, in New York City, a man whose robbery attempt led to a deadly police shooting has been charged with murder, though he didn't fire any of the shots. Police say the gun he was carrying was a fake. A detective was caught in the crossfire, and police say he died from friendly fire. It'll be a somber day in Parkland, Florida, 1 year after the massacre at Stoneman Douglas High School. But Andrew Pollack, whose daughter Meadow was one of the 17 killed, told the Fox News Rundown podcast.
Every day I live my daughter getting murdered, so I don't need February 14th to remind me that's the day my daughter was murdered on.
Pollack's been active working to make schools more secure. This shooting also led many students who survived to push for stricter gun laws. This is Fox News.
Cloudy and 37 degrees. There is some rain in the forecast. 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Lanes are blocked this morning on the inbound Kennedy following reports of a shooting. The incident happened early this morning near Diversey. Ice falling from buildings causing some major street closures in the Loop. Police tell us portions of Franklin, Jackson, Wells, and Adams are closed. Building windows and some vehicles have sustained damage. Jason Van Dyke, former Chicago police officer, appears to be having a tough time in prison. Reports say the former Chicago police officer was beaten in his cell by fellow inmates after being transferred from Rock Island County in Illinois to a federal facility in Connecticut last week. His wife will blast that move and discuss the attack later today. A judge has ruled that 3 men who say a fellow detainee confessed to fatally shooting a Chicago police officer in 2010 can testify at that man's trial. The Tribune says Cook County Judge Stanley Sachs has ruled that 3 inmates who say Anton Carter confessed to the shooting death of Officer Michael Bailey were credible witnesses. Prosecutors say Carter shot the off-duty officer during an attempted carjacking. Carter was charged after allegedly bragging about the slaying while behind bars on an unrelated case. Suburban Chicago man who admitted to supplying a fatal dose of heroin to an acquaintance has been sentenced to 14 years in prison. Jackie Dunklin of Glen Ellen was accused of supplying the drug to James Maulding. The founder and senior pastor of a well-known Chicago area church is out of a job. Harvest Bible Chapel announcing yesterday that James McDonald has been fired for conduct believed to be contrary and harmful to the best interest of that church. Otto Porter Jr., 37, in the Bulls' 122-110 win over the Grizzlies. Blackhawks and Devils on the ice tonight. Fighting Illini in Columbus battling Ohio State. Last night in college hoops, Northwestern lost to Rutgers. The news service of Russell Stover. Russell Stover is here to remind you that Valentine's Day is today. It's time to pick up the Russell Stover heart-shaped box full of chocolates. For your Valentine, don't forget, go now. Russell Stover, make happy. 6:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains why Trump's policies are working.
The economy added a really strong 304,000 jobs last month, higher than analysts, again, were expecting. So you watch this conservatism works. Conservative policies that the president has implemented has now created 5 million new jobs. That's the forgotten men and women that we were talking about in 2016.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Jewel Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Some job recruitment sites overload your inbox with resumes. Glassdoor knows not just any will do. From 62 million job seekers, Glassdoor only matches you with qualified candidates who have the skills and experience your small business needs to grow. In fact, Glassdoor hires are 30% more likely to stay with your company longer. And Glassdoor can help you find that perfect candidate in half the resumes. Go to glassdoor.com/hire. Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business.
You see them all around town. Cintas trucks and their service reps taking care of customers. When companies use Cintas, you know they're confident and ready. Cintas helps with their fire protection and first aid and safety programs, handles their apparel solutions, and helps keep their facility and restrooms clean and stocked. So you know those companies care about their employees, facilities, and image. When all those things work together, they're ready for business.
Oh, I'm ready!
Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
We've all been there, looking for a parking spot when it's freezing and icy outside. The icy pavement of this pothole-filled parking lot is a nightmare. Oh, there's a spot. Wait, oh no, you're sliding. Watch out for that pothole. Your tire just blew out. The kids are crying and you're never coming back here again. Business owners and property managers, avoid frustrating your customers with a less than perfect parking lot. Pavement Solutions can offer you a safer and longer lasting pothole repair with permanent cold mix asphalt. It's an immediate solution and 90% of potholes patched will never need to be repaired again. Call Pavement Solutions today and learn how they can fix your lot in a day without closing it. In fact, as customers drive over the patch, it gets stronger. Don't put your customers or your business at risk with annoying potholes. Give your customers the experience they deserve. Call Pavement Solutions for a free quote. 815-675-0696. 815-675-0696.
Russell Stover is here to remind you that Valentine's Day is today. It's time to pick up the Russell Stover heart-shaped box full of chocolates for your Valentine. Don't forget, go now. Russell Stover. Make happy.
6:07. And let's get an update on your morning roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
The inbound Kennedy remains closed. The local lanes diverted to Fullerton for investigation of an earlier shooting. Traffic's at a standstill from Central Diversity, where traffic's forced out of the locals off the roadway. Express lanes are open with trucks allowed. It's really heavy. We're looking at about 40 minutes from Montrose to downtown on the Express. Edens has delays because of this. Boston Junction, 23 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound Kennedy, 24 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Eisenhower, 36 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95 to downtown. The Loop Adams is closed. Wells to Franklin, falling ice. It's traffic. I'm Jim Alamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly cloudy, a little bit milder. A shower in places this afternoon, the high 44. Partly cloudy, breezy tonight and a low at 11. Mainly cloudy and colder for tomorrow with a high of 24. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
37 at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Yesterday, before the details of the border security deal that congressional Democrats and Republicans reached, before the details were announced, CNN reported Trump intends to sign the border deal to avoid another shutdown. Well, CNN's reporting it, it certainly is 50-50 whether it turns out to be true. But
it might be true.
Here's what Trump did say, though, about the prospect of shutting down the government again.
We'll be getting it. We'll be looking for landmines, because you could have that. It's been known to happen before to people. But we have not gotten it yet. It'll be sent to us at some point, and we'll take a very serious look at it. We have a lot of things happening right now. We're building a lot of wall right now with money that we already have. And when people see what we're doing, I think they'll be very surprised. We're doing a lot of work, and we have planned to do a lot of work, but I have not seen it yet. I appreciate all the work the Republicans have done, because they're really going against a radical left. It's a radical left, and they're going against it very hard, and they're fighting. But we're in very good shape, and we're going to take a look at it when it comes. I don't want to see a shutdown. Shutdown would be a terrible thing.
Shutdown would be a terrible thing. Going to take a look at it. Look for landmines that would queer the deal. I don't know. We've got some details. Any of these sound like landmines to you? Section 231.
I love Section 231.
That's
my favorite section.
It's a fan favorite. There's no question. It prohibits any of the funds being used to build border barriers in certain areas. It really only provides for the construction of new barriers in the Rio Grande Valley area.
Okay.
And
that's where it's needed the most, actually.
$1.375 billion is for the construction of primary pedestrian fencing, including levee pedestrian fencing in the Rio Grande Valley sector. This is from the bill. All right, so there's your $1.375 billion. $725 million for the acquisition and deployment of border security technologies, trade and travel assets and infrastructure, to include $570 million for $570 million for non-intrusive inspection equipment at ports of entry.
All right, new equipment for that.
The point here, just in terms of border barrier wall, I don't know how much people really care about the exact nature, the materials used for the barrier. But if you do, the amounts designated shall only be available for operationally effective designs deployed, such as the currently deployed steel bollard designs that prioritize agent safety.
Is that by D&G?
D&G?
Donnie, Dolce, and Cadoce, what's it called?
Dolce and Gabbana? What?
Are they the designers of that fancy wall you speak of?
They design clothes. Okay. So no concrete wall, no prototypes. Steel bollard design.
Yeah, but what President Trump said yesterday.
Well, there's more.
Well, I know.
There's more.
Is that this wall is going to be fortified, whether it be a fence or a wall.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's going to be harder to scale than Mount Everest. But we'll get to that.
Well.
No, he said it.
Well, unfortunately, you don't have to deal with too many Sir Edmund Hillarys trying to come across the border. That's the good news, I suppose. $3.1 billion in foreign health services. So more than twice the amount for border barriers, foreign health services, meaning health services for foreigners.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
I'm just being...
Yeah.
The other highlights... $415 million for humanitarian aid, $77 million for opioid equipment, 1,200 new custom and border patrol agents.
Okay, 1,200?
Yeah, funding
That's
for
good.
that. No funding for additional enforcement and removal field personnel, so no more ICE agents to deport people already in the country. 1,200 CPB, no new ICE.
All right.
Expands the alternatives to detention program from 82,000 to 100,000. So instead of housing family units at the border, they get moved into the interior And this presents a challenge because when they're moved into the interior, they almost always stay in the country permanently. Just a couple of others. $3.4 billion in refugee assistance. That's $74 million more than last year. $4.4 billion in international disaster assistance. That's $100 million more than last year. Does not eliminate any of the agencies Trump wanted to get rid of, including the Asia Foundation, U.S. African Development Foundation, Inter-American Foundation, U.S. Trade Development Agency. So no bureaucracies eliminated. Additionally, Israel, Ukraine, and Jordan combined received $5.3 billion in foreign aid. So again, that's,
That's part of the border security funding?
Yeah.
Bill?
So
Okay.
that's foreign aid is in there.
Ukraine.
So that's 4x of the border barrier funding. So those are some of the highlights. What do you think? 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA turnkey.pro text line. You still say swallow hard and move forward, as I do? Or is there something in here that you would characterize as one of those landmines Trump was looking for that should lead him to not sign this legislation and move in another direction to get what he wants for border security? Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, my take, the conservative movement's missing the ball. It's another Trumpian look squirrel. Our U.S. debt is $22 trillion. It's gone up a couple trillion since last year. That's what's going to eat this country apart. That's, in my opinion, what's going to destroy this country, not this nonsense of in my opinion, overwrought concerns about crisis at the border.
Well, okay, thanks for the call, Tom. But there's one point of that. This is not a Trump look squirrel because Trump had nothing really to do with cobbling together this compromise, right? This is congressional Republicans and Democrats who cobbled together this compromise and are leveling it up to the president.
Right.
So,
Actually,
I mean,
they wanted him to stay out of it, and they wanted
right.
Pelosi and Schumer to stay out of it too.
So some of obviously what he wants was part of the negotiation. What he wants, informed by border security experts, including the agencies that we rely on, like Customs.
Conservatives, are you upset that he's going to sign this bill? Honestly, because the House Freedom Caucus, they're very upset. They wanted to pass a stopgap bill and discuss this for another week to 2 weeks. Because he does. I mean, he promised that he was going to make Mexico pay for it. Obviously, that's not going to happen. And if he declares an executive or takes an executive action, then he's going to be relying on American tax dollars to pay for it if he wants more of the wall built.
Yeah, I mean, the American tax dollars, we're talking about relatively infinitesimal amounts of money in the grand scheme of the federal budget, number one. Number two, the Make Mexico Pay for it. It's so tired.
But that's what he campaigned on.
Backdoor pay through the new NAFTA deal.
Well, regardless, wall is being built.
We're building as we speak in the most desperately needed areas. And it's a big wall. It's a strong wall. It's a wall that people aren't going through very easy. They're going to have to be in extremely good shape to get over this one. They would be able to climb Mount Everest a lot easier, I think.
And there were pictures of him at the border in Texas in front of some of the new walling that's there. So
Okay.
that's true. Jim in Tampa, Florida.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I don't know how, Dan, I may have missed it when I was on hold, but I don't know how you feel about this. And I think this is written and designed to just trigger all kinds of a reaction from both Trump and the conservatives. I mean, this is just fingers in the eye all day long, the way they put these things in there. It just really, I recoil from it. I haven't had time to think about it, but my initial emotional reaction is, screw this. This isn't, what are you putting all this stuff in here for? This is a joke. And I think people should be pissed at Democratic legislators that use this opportunity to do things like this. But I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
Well, thanks for the call, Jim. I'll withhold my view for a moment. Greg in Schaumburg.
Hi, Dan and Amy. The caller 2 callers ago who talked about the deficit, people like that absolutely drive me nuts. You can't look at a multiple dependent cause situation and pick out one thing and declare it to be the cause. This is interconnected, but certainly if you don't have security, then the economy goes down the drain, and then you have a major problem. Trump should take this. He should then go and do every executive order that he can and pray that Roberts stays with him on the Supreme Court.
All right. Thanks for the call, Greg. What do you think? Sign it? Don't sign it. Aye or nay? Representative Amy Jacobson from the great state of Chicago.
Nay. We're going to have another government shutdown.
They're trying to make it a state. You know, see, some Southern Illinois legislators want to make Illinois to make Chicago well, either way, I can't.
The 51st state?
Chicago 51st state. So, yeah, that Chicago the 51st state so that the Illinois they have down there in Southern Illinois can be Illinois. So maybe that.
Awesome idea.
You could be a congresswoman from Lakeview.
I was from Southern Illinois. I'd want to separate from this part of the country as quick as humanly possible.
All right.
Because they have to pay for our politicians' sins down there, and that's not fair.
I went on a
tangent. To feed the world. Yes.
Okay. And so you're a no.
I'm a no, and you're what are you?
Why are you a no?
Because I don't like. This is not a deal. This is just weird. He has egg on his face. President Trump does from what he promised the American people during his campaign, and it's 55 miles. It's nothing compared to what was recently offered was 65 miles and $1.67 billion. So he might have wanted to take that if he's the savvy businessman that he says he is.
I think focusing on whether this is a win or a loss now. Quarreling about that
doesn't matter.
Counterproductive.
All right.
I think that it's disappointing, but it's not dispositive of the issue. You still have another 2 years.
You think
perhaps
in 2 years
another
people
6.
forget about this?
Well, it's not that they forget about it. It's what will he have tangibly to present in terms of the promise that he made and how well he kept it. Will he have new infrastructure on the border? Yes. Will he have the support of Border Patrol? Yes. Will he have a reduction in illegal crossings? Probably yes. So I think those tangible deliverables will supersede what we're talking about today about dollars and miles. I just think they will. And also, this is going to be an exercise in moral relativism, as most elections are, really, right?
Right.
So it's Trump and what he has gotten here and what he will have done by 2020 versus whoever the Democrats nominate. And that's likely to be somebody who, at minimum, has had a dalliance with the abolish ICE, walls are immoral crowd. So it's not just who you're going to choose, because that's obvious. I think this will be disappointing, but I don't think it depresses his base, and I don't think it leads anyone in his base to leave him. So the smart political thing, given the reality on the ground and the decision he made to deleverage his bargaining position by ending the partial shutdown, leads you to this place.
Wow. That's a good answer.
All right, thank you very much. The gentle lady.
I don't like what you're saying.
The gentle lady from Chicago.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Thanks for taking my call. Trump should sign the bill, but use it as an excellent talking point for the next election, 2020, saying, I tried to build a ball, but you guys wouldn't give me a Congress to give me the proper legislation. So go out and vote for people that are going to want to support me.
All right. Thanks, Bob. Steve in Hinsdale.
Yeah, I'm with Bob, Dan, and Amy. This is like a basketball game. I think he scored a two-pointer, not a three-pointer. This is going to go on for decades, and so I think it's a good win. So I'm happy he's got my vote. You know, back to this climate change thing real quick. Do you know how many people in India die a year from air pollution?
Many.
1.2 million. So, you know, this whole Green Deal, all this lefty stuff, We got the right man. We'll be fine. Thanks. Have a great day. Happy Valentine's Day to all my old girlfriends. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Steve. I'm sure all your old girlfriends are appreciative.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results may vary. See website for details.
But hey, I'm buying a huge flat screen TV so I can finally see it without my glasses.
Why not just get LASIK at the LASIK Vision Institute? That's what I'm doing.
My glasses and contacts are a pain. I'd love to finally get rid of these, but who can afford LASIK?
You can. Because the LASIK Vision Institute is offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye with an absolutely free consultation. Text START to 350350. The LASIK Vision Institute has already performed over 1 million procedures. They use advanced FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for a fraction of what others charge. Better vision, better value. The LASIK Vision Institute. Make this the year you finally get LASIK for as low as $220 per eye. Text START to 350350. You'll see for free if LASIK is right for you. That's START to 350350.
As we've mentioned, and as you know, today is February 14th, Valentine's Day. And here's something you can do for a loved one or for yourself. Boost your immune system. Stay healthy this winter and get balance of nature. Don't get chocolates. Who wants chocolate? You want something healthy. You want 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies in a capsule. No preservatives, and that will help boost your immune system and keep you healthy all winter long. You've heard the testimonials. I can tell you they're 100% real. In fact, I met a man who has been taking Balance of Nature for 5 years, and he told me he doesn't get sick anymore. And he told me he doesn't feel any older than he did 5 years ago before he started taking Balance of Nature, and that's great. Here's what you do to get your bottle of Balance of Nature. Go to balanceofnature.com, type Chicago in that promo code, and you'll get 35% off your first order of Balance of Nature. Or you can call this number, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751.
The most popular days to get engaged are Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day. And guys, finding the perfect wedding venue can be harder to figure out than the color and quality of the perfect diamond. With love in the air, Avante Banquets is here to help you plan the wedding of your dreams for the party of a lifetime at a price right for you. Avante Banquets is part of the family-owned Chicago Prime Restaurants, with a picturesque location opened just last year near Barrington, providing fine American dining and a timeless experience. Avante is an exceptional space for your wedding or corporate events and fundraisers, for an intimate gathering or parties of 500 or more. The calendar is filling up, so secure your date today at AvanteBanquets.com. That's AVANTE Banquets.com. With wedding packages starting at just $39 a person. Experience exceptional hospitality with the Calcunos family at Avante Banquets, because classic never goes out of style. AvanteBanquets.com. AvanteBanquets.com.
Hey, another new year is come and gone, and if you're a business owner and still haven't done anything about your company's network and computer system, listen closely. You and your employees suffer every time something goes wrong with your network. And in most cases, it can take days to hire an IT person to fix it. Maybe you've been lucky and everything's running fine, but how long will that last? Whether you've experienced technical trouble or not, when you do, it costs your company money. But it doesn't have to. Don't wait for a crisis. Turnkey IT can help make 2019 the year you've prepared for anything technology throws at you. You'll be set up for success and get in front of the many technical issues that can overwhelm a business. Turnkey IT specializes in preventative steps to keep you going. So get on it, and for a limited time, get free lunch for the decision makers of your company. When you have Turnkey, do a complimentary network audit of your systems. Even if you have an IT guy, a second opinion never hurt. Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, it's taking your calls, aye or nay, with now that you know some of the details of the border security funding compromise. The details released last night. Trump has a decision to make. Margot in Burr Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Right. I think the Democrats don't really want him to sign this, because if he signs this,
He'll be doing what they do, incremental imposition of what he wants and what I want. Then I can give you two good examples. I mean, abortion. First of all, you had early-term abortion. Then you had second trimester. Then you had late-term abortion. And now you've got infanticide. Or if you look at health care, first there was Medicaid, Medicare, the VA, and then they had companies paying for employees' health care. Then we got Obamacare, and now they want single payer. That's how they do it, incrementally. They never give up. They always take whatever they can get to grasp further along their way. And I guess that's what he has to do here.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
That's right. Thanks for the call, Margot. You're going to have to claw your way back. It's not all going to happen in one fell swoop, particularly with a divided Congress. You're going to have to claw your way back to sanity, and this is, I guess, a baby step in that direction on which to build. At least that's what I would argue.
Coming up on Chicago. Help if I turned on my microphone. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Bill Daley to build Chicago, says the Tribune in their endorsement of Bill Daley for mayor. We'll discuss at 6:36.
And Bill Daley's reaction when he heard about the Chicago Tribune endorsing him is priceless. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
37 degrees at 6:30. Lanes blocked on the inbound Kennedy after reports of a shooting much earlier this morning. So far, there's no word on any injuries. The investigation continues. Ice falling from buildings causing major street closures in the Loop. Franklin, Jackson, Wells, and Adams, according to our Jim Telemonte. And he'll have an update on the traffic story in a moment. At least 2 U.S. citizens are among 5 killed this morning in a plane crash in Kenya. Witnesses say they saw the plane clip a tree and crash into another tree as its rear wheels came off the ground. Congress is finished writing a new border security bill that, if signed by President Trump, would avoid another partial government shutdown.
I don't want to see a shutdown. Shutdown would be a terrible thing.
It does not fulfill the president's request for nearly $6 billion for building a wall on the southern border. More details are emerging about the death of an Ohio woman who was abducted at gunpoint from a college campus. Kentucky State Police say Skylar Williams was shot and killed by Tyrell Pounds earlier this week and not by the responding officer.
We wanted to find out as quickly as we could whether his weapon or the suspect weapon shot Miss Williams, because we wanted him to have some peace knowing that he did not fire that round.
Pounds was shot and killed by the officer. Williams was kidnapped Monday from the Ohio State University Mansfield campus by Pounds, who has a violent past. An Illinois congressman is headed to the southern border with Mexico with the rest of his Air National Guard unit. Adam Kinzinger represents the 16th District and is serving active duty as a lieutenant colonel, a Republican elected to Congress in 2010. A judge has ruled that 3 men who say a fellow detainee confessed to fatally shooting a Chicago police officer, Michael Bailey, in 2010 can testify at that man's trial. Empire actor Jesse Smollett frustrated that people are questioning his claims of being the victim of a racist attack last month in Chicago.
How can you doubt that? Like, how do you not believe that? It's the truth. And then it became a thing of like, oh, it's not necessarily that you don't believe that this is the truth. You don't even want to see the truth.
Smollett talking with Good Morning America. The former home of an infamous gangster, Al Capone, is now up for sale. The Park Manor house is on the market for nearly $110,000. The 2,800 square foot, 6-bedroom home on the south side was moved into by Capone in 1923. This morning, J.P. Morgan Chase is rolling out its first cryptocurrency, first by a major U.S. bank. Engineers at J.P. Morgan have created a digital token called a JPM coin, which will be used to instantly settle transactions between clients of its wholesale payments business only. The bank will roll out the JPM coin in trials to start in a few months. You may recall J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon has bashed cryptocurrency, calling Bitcoin a fraud that will not end well for investors. Otto Porter Jr., 37 points in the Bulls' 122-110 win over the Grizzlies. Cubs bolster their bullpen with Xavier Cedeno, who started last year on the south side with the White Sox. The news service of Russell Stover. Russell Stover is here to remind you that Valentine's Day is today. It's time to pick up the Russell Stover heart-shaped box full of chocolates for your Valentine. Don't forget, go now. Russell Stover. Make happy. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Winter stinks. Snow, ice, freezing temperatures, more snow. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. You'll stay at the Marvel Residences Luxury Resort in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. It's a beautiful, all-inclusive resort located between Rainforest Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. Don't wait to book your Passport to Paradise trip with AM 560 and Apple Vacations. Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. That's 560theanswer.com/passport.
The following is a paid political announcement.
A lot of deals have been the Chicago way of doing business. I've never been tied to Chicago political machine. As your next mayor, I propose a citizen review board made up of citizens, law enforcement, city officials that will review the inner workings of City Hall on a quarterly basis. This open door policy will clean up the old corrupt ways and turn City Hall into the People's Hall.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor. When it comes to your pain, many of you might be skeptical, like I was, about ordering Relief Factor. Pat Boone again for this wonderful 100% drug-free supplement designed to help your own body lower or eliminate occasional aches and pains due to aging, exercise, everyday living. I'm not skeptical any longer. The 3-week quick start is now discounted to only $19.95. Why don't you let us see if we can get you out of pain, too, at ReliefFactor.com.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. You know, people walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
On the inbound Kennedy, local lanes remain closed from Diversey to Fullerton for investigation of a shooting this morning. Traffic's at a standstill from before Nagel to Diversey. Express lanes are open, but they're jammed as well. We're looking at about 45 minutes from Montrose to Ohio in the express lanes. The locals remain shut down. Outbound, there's a Capers delay. It's 26 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Eden's 25 minutes, Lake Cook Junction. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound, it's 38 minutes after a crash at St. Charles. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. It's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy, milder, shower, maybe in places this afternoon, high 44. And then we turn partly cloudy at sunset, breezy, and we tumble to a low of 11. Currently 37. Next news coming up at 7, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Won't you go home, Bill Daly? Won't you go home? You've been around for so long.
Yeah.
You did this 6 years ago, Bill, when you ran. But it didn't last as long as this song.
Yeah, Bill Daley, you think that's tone deaf. Bill Daley to build Chicago. Actually, this is
comical.
This is great.
Sad.
Kudos to the Tribune for this outstanding tribute to the Onion. This is an outstanding tribute to the Onion. Bill Daley to build Chicago. Chicago Tribune's endorsement. Some of the highlights. I mean, get ready to laugh. In this race, Chicago has an exceptional field of candidates, writes the Tribune. I mean, they're hilarious. They're
outstanding. What?
They are funny men and women on that Tribune editorial board.
Well, yeah, an outstanding group. I mean, Amaya Enya now being sued by her spokesperson for not paying that bill. Didn't pay her student loans. Skipped out on her landlord a few times. But we want her in charge of our budget. And by the way, something just happened to your microphone.
Amara Enya. I mean, who cares?
She's out of it. Well, I'm just saying, if they're saying it's a wonderful field of candidates,
well,
Dan,
yeah,
not so wonderful.
The Tribune writes, "We aren't nostalgic for old days and old ways." No, I agree. What's to be nostalgic about? You're interested in just more of the same. There's no nostalgia. It's what we have now and what you want more of. Don't change a thing, Bill Daley in 2019. I hear you. The Tribune also writes that in searching for, searching for their endorsement, the process would be less freighted with controversial history if Bill Daley's name were Bill Doe. Yeah.
What in the world?
Yeah. Here's the thing about that. We wouldn't even be talking about Bill Daley if his name was Bill Doe, would we?
Right. We wouldn't be. He wouldn't be endorsed by the Chicago Tribune if his name were Bill Doe.
He wouldn't exist in politics.
He wouldn't even be running if Rahm Emanuel decided to seek another term.
Bill Daley to build Chicago. Oh, no, and this is great, too. They use Bill Daley's words to support their own. We were impressed, essentially, the Tribune says, when Bill Daley said, the next mayor of the city has to be a salesperson for the city, correct the problems, whether it's corruption, whether it's the inequity or, say, the history of racism in the city or the country. Address them, but move this city forward. Wow.
Such impressive rhetoric.
Wow, is that powerful?
That's a great plan.
What has he done in the 70 years he's been on this planet? In furtherance of those things he's now going to do as mayor, the Tribune would have you believe. More Bill Daley rhetorical flourishes. If we don't move forward with economic growth, all those good things we want to do for those who are not as fortunate as we are, we will have a hard time accomplishing them. Oh, my gosh, that is groundbreaking. Oh, that's important. That's what leadership sounds like. Are you fracking kidding me? No. You know what? Because the Tribune editorial board, the big government press corps, which they're a part of, with a couple of exceptions named Cass and McQuarrie, they like the status quo. They're like the electorate.
Well, they're even saying that they're endorsing him because of the family name. They said, yes, we're endorsing a Daley. Reawakening the Daley dynasty gives you pause. Fair enough. It gives us pause, too. Richard I and Richard II served as mayor for more than 2 decades apiece. Find us a Chicagoan who doesn't have strong opinions about those men and their reigns.
Yeah.
So we're just going to continue it with Bill.
One more reason Daley stands apart. Oh, I mean, there's so many. Whew. This must have been laborious to put them all together in one editorial. His experience as President Clinton's Commerce Secretary and Obama's Chief of Staff. Yeah.
And then they even mention, he gets things done. Well, he ran Al Gore's 2000 presidential campaign. Yeah. Who won that race?
He didn't run his campaign. He didn't run his campaign. He was a titular campaign chairman. It's like saying John Podesta ran Hillary's. No, he didn't. Does the Tribune editorial, these are political people, do they even understand how campaigns work?
I know. That's
what titles mean? So that's one thing.
Commerce Secretary Owen, President Obama's chief of staff. Didn't we just do that for 7 years? And that was an actual chief of staff. That wasn't sort of like a placeholder chief of staff, which is what Bill Daley was, because that's what he has been his entire life. He's put that guy in the room because of who he's family members with.
Right. Not because of his own credentials.
Put that guy in the C-suite, cut that guy in on the deal, find somebody to take that guy's state insurance exam for him because he's a moron like his brother, but this is a family we got to serve.
D's, Dems, and Does. Bill Daley's reaction when he heard that the Chicago Tribune was endorsing him.
Matter of fact, when Jorge Neri came in, my campaign manager, I said, Russians must have hacked the Tribune's website. Because I was really surprised by it, to be frank with you.
Yeah. Here you go, folks.
Yay.
Yay, Anna.
Yay, Chicago.
Yay.
Hooray,
Yay.
Chicago. Bill Daley to build Chicago. What do you think? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Now, the good news is, I mean, the Tribune.
What?
As the sway the Tribune has is diminishing with each passing day. This is an echo chamber for people like the board members of the Civic Committee of the Commercial Club, the C-suite rent seekers proposing tax increases, the business community. This is for the public sector union bosses and the progressive youth proposing a city income tax and LaSalle Street tax and other things to further decimate Chicago. Even as the Tribune writes, Chicago is an abundance of taxation, but not enough employers, enough taxpayers contributing revenue to City Hall. Such a great perspective. That's exactly how the rent seekers in C-suites, that's exactly how the public sector union bosses who can tell the difference anymore, that's how they talk. And not enough employers or enough taxpayers contributing revenue to City Hall, because that's the point. That's the point of all this. Prop up City Hall, prop up big government, no matter the expense, no matter the infliction of pain and suffering, no matter the push of people out of this state, out of the city and out of the state. You're a revenue generator for City Hall. That's all you are. You are enlisted to be a ward healer for the show, ward healer for the men and women of always at City Hall. Change on the outside to protect continuity on the inside. Never a more accurate statement about Chicago was made, and it was made in Boss, the show. Yeah. Kelsey Grammer plays Mayor of Chicago.
I love that show.
Should have got the writers from Boss to write this editorial for the Chicago Tribune.
Oh, it's just a disgrace. Shame on the Tribune.
Vince in Crystal Lake, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, how you doing? This is Vince.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say Bill Daley's Fredo. If you have the clip from Fredo when
he's smart.
Fredo
he can do
this,
things.
Fredo get that.
Yeah, get in the boat, Fredo.
Yeah. I'm smart.
Thanks for the call, Vince. Yes.
I'm not familiar with Fredo.
Fredo Daley.
Oh.
Yeah. Fredo from The Godfather.
Yeah. That movie that I...
Michael, I'm smart. I could do things. Get in the boat, I said. Jim in Willowbrook.
Good morning, guys. Hey, it doesn't matter who the Tribune endorses. One of these Democrats, it doesn't matter who it's going to be. They're not going to be happy until we look just like Detroit. They're going to run us right into the ground.
But
Detroit's actually on a comeback now.
Yeah,
they raised all those houses, and there's organic farming going on, and then artists are moving down there into those lofts, and they're slowly changing.
But Bill Daley understands that the mayor has to be a salesperson for the city.
Does he?
Mike on the north side.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Nobody buy the Tribune anymore. Well, don't read it. Put the money in the box, take all the papers out, and throw them in the dumpster so they don't make any money. I'm tired of the daily friends, felons, and family plan raping this city. the Tribune, everybody on the editorial board, I'm issuing a fatwa against you. Everybody go after these people. You see them on the street, give them a slap, tell them it's from me. You see them walking downtown, throw them over the bridge into the river. Give them a good cleaning. These people are part of the problem. They own a lot of property. The dailies take care of them. Chicago was destroyed by the dailies and Rahm Emanuel. Bill Daley and Rahm Emanuel pushed through NAFTA, and that cost us tens of thousands of small manufacturing jobs. And then the Mayor Mumbles, Ritchie, changed the zoning laws and made every factory spend tens of thousands and in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars on plants and fences for their parking lots. He drove them out.
Well,
so all those places,
GF structures, though. But look at the planters on Michigan Avenue, Mike. Look at the planters. Look at the wrought iron fencing
in Lakeview.
It's nice. Maggie Daly Park.
Yeah, those planters are nice shaped. They're coffin shaped. We should put a daily in each one of them. We should for all they've stolen. And Bill Daley, I see you. I'm going to get you in the heart with a number 2 pencil.
Okay,
right,
thanks for the call, Mike. Take it easy.
They even went we appreciate Daley's candor. He recognizes the need for reform, the politics that nurtured him and his forebearers. They said that his supporting downsizing city council into a more crisp legislative body.
Oh,
was so courageous.
What about
so courageous.
Where's the mention of the parking meter deal?
Where's the mention
that he was in the middle of and has given differing answers these days as compared to what he said at the time, because now he's running for mayor. What about the SBC deal he did with Tiny Dancer and Benedict Rauner? Where's the mention of that? Where's the mention of their own reporting on him apparently cheating to pass the state insurance exam? Character, the character stuff.
Well, that says a lot about a person.
Is there any? I mean, is there normally if you have qualms about a candidate in an editorial, you'll give the reason you're endorsing him or her, but you'll also give the problems that the candidate has. No mention of those. No, not in the tank though. No. Ron on the South Side.
You know what? The irony of it, Dan, that whole story about him taking out his shirt, it was on the first page of the Tribune.
Yeah,
first page.
Right.
So it's not like you don't notice, but you know what?
Well, they don't read the Tribune either, the editorial board.
Absolutely. Yeah, they must not. And to tell you the truth, I couldn't care less who they endorse. I will not be voting for them. And I just hope most people, Dan, because you know what? Sometimes they're going to do the same thing. They're going to do the same thing. I mean, you don't. So
they may endorse Preckwinkle. Remember, they're a big labor paper.
Yeah, you're probably right. Another loser. But just discuss. Hey, Dan, real quick.
Wait, who you voting for before you make your last point? Who you with, Ron?
You know what, Dan? I have not made up my mind at this point. You know what, Dan.
Right.
Okay, I'll look at him. Yeah, I know who I'm not voting for, and so that's the guy. This is just they just have no integrity. I read them because of John Cass. But other than that, my dog can urinate on the Tribune paper.
There you go.
Have a good day.
Thanks for the
Well,
call,
I don't think
Ron.
we should vote for anybody who threw their hat in the ring after Mayor Emanuel said he wasn't going to run for re-election. And I think everybody should vote for Paul Vallis.
You're voting Vallis or Wilson. I'm down to Vallis or Willie.
Okay. And don't vote for anyone who refuses to come on this show, because they're taking the Republican vote for granted, and that's about 135,000 people who voted for Trump, and they need those votes. That's Jerry Joyce won't come on, Susana Mendoza won't come on, Tony Preckwinkle won't come on, Bill Daley, he sleeps in. He's only available between 10 and noon for questions from the media. Okay. Who else is there?
I'll tell you what, that's another thing, too. Boy, it's going to be hard to build Chicago.
Yeah, if you had to sleep in the morning.
If you only work 2 hours a day. Boy, I don't know if that's going to be enough.
He doesn't do morning radio. I mean, we have the email that says that.
Mark in Plainfield.
Dan, you set me up perfectly. If I was still living in Chicago, I'd be voting for the self-made millionaire with zero political experience. It's working great at the federal level. It'll make Chicago great again, and they want Willie Wilson won't have a Schumer or Pelosi to deal with.
thanks for the call, Mark. There's something about going from 20 cents an hour as a cotton picker in Jim Crow, Louisiana, to sitting atop a $60 million company. That's the Willie Wilson story. It is. It's remarkable. It's a great American story. There's no question about it, whether you vote for Willie or not. You can't deny that story. By the way, also yesterday, the filing for an independent expenditure PAC in D.C. To go after Vallis and McCarthy.
What?
Yeah, that has to be. It has to be some, and it's the guy who founded Aristotle. I think it's Bill Daley. It most likely is Bill Daley.
It sounds like Bill Daley.
It could be Joyce, but I think it's Daley because here's the problem Daley has, and boy, wouldn't this be delicious. I said yesterday before we interviewed Willie Wilson, I've seen 2 polls recently. Both have Willie Wilson in second position.
Oh, yeah. David Axelrod even said that yesterday. He said it's going to be Preckwinkle, Daley, or Willie Wilson.
So, I mean, could you imagine how great would it be for a Willie Wilson to take out Bill Daley and to take out everybody who supported Bill Daley in so doing? How delicious would that be? There's your yellow vest moment potentially in Chicago, but that independent expenditure PAC, probably Daley, targeting Vallis and McCarthy because he needs to
get the white vote?
Well, he needs to shear some of their vote away over to him to make the runoff. So look for that in the closing couple of weeks and days of the campaign now. Attacks on Vallis and McCarthy, and you can bet Daley's fingerprints will be on it.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says. Like dumb, I'm smart, and I want respect.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The TVA vote will test President Trump's pro-coal policy. Levi Strauss hoping to raise millions in its IPO, and January's producer price index today. Those stories next.
Hi, this is Alexander Green, Chief Investment Strategist for the Oxford Club. Just for a moment, I'd like you to picture the perfect stock. No doubt it would have hundreds of billions in revenue, more than IBM, Facebook, and Google. It would probably be a leader in cutting-edge technology like smartphones and robotics. It would be on the verge of dozens of blockbuster announcements. But most of all, it would be ultra cheap, trading at less than $3 a share. Now, it may seem crazy that such a stock exists, but it does. It's a cutting-edge tech company that has made deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars with Nokia, Microsoft, and Cisco, and a $29.2 billion deal with Apple. It's set to create 50,000 new jobs right here in America, and Donald Trump even calls it the 8th wonder of the world. Yet you've likely never even heard of the stock. Why? Because it trades under a secret name. To find out why the secret $3 stock can help you retire, simply go to onestockretirement.com. That's onestockretirement.com.
A vote by the Tennessee Valley Authority set to test President Trump's vow to save the coal industry. The TVA recommended closing a coal-fired Kentucky plant, but the president declaring coal is an important part of America's energy, asking them to give serious consideration to all factors before voting. Jeans manufacturer Levi Strauss hoping to raise $100 million through an IPO. Levi officials have not yet revealed the price or the number of shares to be offered, but they're counting on their iconic image to attract some investors. Economic reports today include January's producer price index from the Labor Department and the weekly update on mortgage interest rates from Freddie Mac. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
The weather outside might feel like winter, but if you have school-age kids, you should be thinking about back-to-school season. Specifically, you should be thinking about where you will be sending your kids to school this fall. If you've always felt like you didn't have a choice to send your kids to private school because of the cost, then listen up. We want to tell you about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools from all over Chicagoland offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price with no catch. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's that simple. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located all across Chicagoland, including Westminster Christian School in Elgin, Kingswood Academy in Darien, St. John's Lutheran in Chicago's Portage Park neighborhood, Covenant Christian School in Aurora, Jordan Baptist School in Burbank. Make private school a real option for your family for the first time this year, but don't wait. Many of these vouchers will sell out Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
We are ready for Fioretti.
I'm former Alderman Bob Fioretti asking for your vote for mayor. For 10 years, on every important issue, property taxes, more police officers, mass school closings, and more, I fought for you against the political ruling class. I always will. If you like how our city is run, the corruption, violent crime rate, insider deals, I'm not your candidate. If you're for structural change in Chicago, you're ready for Fioretti. Punch 35 for Bob Fioretti for mayor. Thank you. Paid for by friends of Bob Fioretti.
Went to mypillow.com yesterday and ordered Peyton some sheets because he's so tall right now, Dan, that we had to buy him a new mattress and twin XL. So we had to get him some cotton Giza, what do you call them, sheets?
Giza sheets? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I picked out the color. Took just a few moments to get him those sheets that I know he's going to love. And we got a great discount because we typed Amy in that promo code, and voila.
They have a lot of reading to do. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. An 1,159-page bipartisan compromise finalized before midnight to fund the government and avert another shutdown. Democrats are urging President Trump to sign it. So is Republican Senator Lindsey Graham.
Take this as a down payment, go into the defense bill and move money around like Congress allowed you to do last year and build this damn wall.
Democrats have said he doesn't have the authority to find funding elsewhere. Paul Manafort could be facing a longer prison sentence now that the Trump campaign chairman's plea deal with special counsel Mueller has been voided in court.
The judge concluding Manafort made multiple false statements to the special counsel, the FBI, and a grand jury about matters that were material to the Russia investigation. Manafort was already convicted of financial crimes in a separate case when he took the deal to avoid another trial. The agreement required Manafort fully, truthfully, completely, and forthrightly answer questions.
That's Fox's Steve Rappaport. Vice President Pence pokes our allies at a Middle East conference in Poland, saying in Europe they're not being cooperative on Iran, still in the nuclear deal the U.S. pulled out of.
In fact, they've led the effort to create mechanisms to break up our sanctions.
It's been a year since this nightmare in Florida.
The shooter shot through the door, poked in, shot a couple people next to me. I was sitting right behind a cabinet and the bullet passed my ear.
17 students and adults were murdered at Stoneman Douglas High in Parkland, where Fox's Evan Brown is live.
Yeah, Dave, classes went into session here about 20 minutes ago, and the school day will only be a couple of hours long. Students from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High and other area schools are being encouraged to spend the day at service projects. Outside the school this morning, it's quite calm. School buses arrived and left with no incident. Some parents drove their children up to the school doors. Others walked along the sidewalk to reach the campus, which is encircled by Broward County Sheriff's deputies. Schools all over Florida will observe a moment of silence at 10:17 this morning, Dave.
And some of those student survivors have been active in gun control calls. This is Fox.
Cloudy skies, 37 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're following on WIND Chicago. Lanes were blocked early this morning on the inbound Kennedy Expressway. Following reports of a shooting, police investigated. Ice falling from buildings causing some major street closures in Chicago. Franklin, Jackson, Wells, and Adams in the Loop had streets closed for a time. Some vehicles and building windows were damaged. An Illinois congressman headed to the southern border with Mexico with the rest of his Air National Guard unit. Adam Kinzinger represents the state's 16th district, serving on active duty as a lieutenant colonel in the Air National Guard. Odds may still favor the eventual construction of former President Barack Obama's $500 million museum and library, but likely not in a public park along Chicago's lakeshore. It's no sure thing in the face of a formidable legal challenge by a parks advocacy group. And a U.S. District Judge, John Blakey, today will hear arguments on a key motion by city attorneys to try and toss that lawsuit by Protect Our Parks. It's not just about the minimum wage, though that's a big part of their concern. A large jobs and ideas group in Illinois says it's worried about the speed at which new Governor J.B. Pritzker is pushing change in the state's business climate and spending more state money. Group's Greg Bay says the real worry is the new administration is moving far too fast for communities to keep up. Otto Porter, a career-high 37. Bulls win over the Grizzlies, 122-110. Robin Lopez added 25 in the win. Blackhawks host the Devils tonight. Fighting Illini battle Ohio State in Columbus tonight. College hoops last night. Northwestern lost to Rutgers. Bradley beat first-place Loyola in the Valley. The news service of Peloton. Winter or summer, rain or shine, with the Peloton bike, it's always the perfect weather to sweat. And with up to 14 live rides a day and over 10,000 more on demand, nothing will get between you and your workout. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
AmericanEagle.com has been fortunate to develop thousands of business websites over the past 15 years. Businesses just like yours. Don't think because they advertise on the radio and mention big clients like Portillo's, WeatherTech, and Dairy Queen that they won't give your small to medium-sized business the same great service. Small and medium-sized companies are a huge part of AmericanEagle.com's clients. AmericanEagle.com's continued success is because they're capable of a wide range of projects from small to extremely large. They view all clients as long-term partners on every internet endeavor. When you're looking for an experienced and reputable partner for any of your internet-related projects, consider AmericanEagle.com. They'll likely be able to show you a project they've already done that's similar to what your company needs. AmericanEagle.com, the only name you need to know for website development, hosting, and maintenance. You can reach AmericanEagle.com on the web or at 773-NETWORK. That's 773-NETWORK.
36 days. That's how long it takes the average company to find their next hire. Glassdoor can help you quickly find the right job candidate in half the resumes. From 62 million job seekers, Glassdoor only matches you with qualified candidates who have the skills and experience your small business needs to grow. And Glassdoor hires are committed. They're 30% more likely to stay with your business longer. Go to glassdoor.com/hire. Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business.
How can a fully stocked restroom improve your image? How can serviced fire extinguishers or first aid cabinet make your employees more prepared? How can comfortable work apparel make your business more productive? For over 1 million customers, the answer is simple. Cintas. Cintas delivers everything you need to open your doors with confidence. Because helping keep businesses well-equipped, clean, and looking their best, that's our business.
Oh, I'm ready!
Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
Hi, I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, and I help business owners, 1099 employees, and those with unfiled tax returns solve their IRS problems. And I'm also the host of the IRS Radio Hour.
And I'm Jim Leahy, the co-host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here every Sunday evening at 5 on AM 560.
The Answer. I know you want a local attorney you can look in the eye and hold accountable for solving your IRS problem, not some big box outfit without a Chicago connection. So today we have a special offer. A good night's sleep.
A good night's sleep? Are you trying to give away a pillow?
Great guess, Jim. But no, I want to help people solve the problems that are keeping them up at night. If you fear the IRS will take away your money, freeze your bank account, garnish your wages, visit your home or job, and now they can take away your passport, you need to hire me to solve your IRS problem for good.
Call attorney Stephen Leahy, your Chicago IRS answer man at 312-664-6649, 312-664-6649, and get the IRS out of your business and your life for good.
Russell Stover is here to remind you that Valentine's Day is today. It's time to pick up the Russell Stover heart-shaped box full of chocolates for your Valentine. Don't forget, go now. Russell Stover. Make happy.
It is 7:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
Downtown Chicago, Adams is closed. Franklin and Wacker with falling ice. Same true of Delaware Place east of Michigan Avenue. Inbound Kennedy, it's open again after a closure at Diversey due to a shooting. But it's jammed. 55 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 30 from Montrose, 24 in the Express. Edens runs 25 minutes Lake Cook to the Kennedy. The Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 for Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishoport 32. With on tri-state delays, Archer to the Hinsdale Oasis, from the Reagan Tollway to past the Eisenhower. Westbound I-80 stop and go, Kedzie to Cicero. It's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Cloudy skies. It'll be a bit milder today. A shower in spots for the afternoon. High 44. Partly cloudy, breezy tonight and a low at 11. Mostly cloudy. Cold day for tomorrow and a daytime high at 24. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
40 degrees at O'Hare, 38 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump yesterday, before the details of the border security deal were made public in legislative form, President Trump had this to say about what he plans to do and whether or not another partial shutdown of the government is on the table.
We'll be getting it. We'll be looking for landmines, because you could have that. It's been known to happen before to people. But we have not gotten it yet. It'll be sent to us at some point, and we'll take a very serious look at it. We have a lot of things happening right now. We're building a lot of wall right now with money that we already have. And when people see what we're doing, I think they'll be very surprised. We're doing a lot of work, and we have planned to do a lot of work, but I have not seen it yet. I appreciate all the work the Republicans have done, because they're really going against a radical left. It's a radical left. And they're going against it very hard, and they're fighting. But we're in very good shape, and we're going to take a look at it when it comes. I don't want to see a shutdown. Shutdown would be a terrible thing.
National Review opining Republicans are stuck with a lousy deal. If it's a disappointing state of affairs, a product of poor choices by Trump and congressional Republicans. It was malpractice not to get more funding for a border barrier out of Congress when it was held by Republicans. Pretty straightforward. Though the National Review points out rightly that the Democrats might have filibustered any deal they didn't like, so it was no fait accompli, but it still was much more advantageous with that distribution of power. And so I would add that deleveraging by opening up the small portion of the government that was temporarily shut down or led him to this place as well. And what's the place? You're going to get some fencing, sort of like almost like steel bollards and like a trellis type barrier in the Rio Grande Valley.
And it's going to be harder to climb than Mount Everest.
We're building as we speak in the most desperately needed areas. And it's a big wall. It's a strong wall. It's a wall that people aren't going through very easy. They're going to have to be in extremely good shape to get over this one. They would be able to climb Mount Everest a lot easier, I think.
I don't know. I'd have to put that to Sir Edmund Hillary. But here's the thing. 1,200 new CPB agents, 1,200 more. No new ICE. Money for foreign health assistance, humanitarian aid, some aid to deal with the opioid crisis, and technology deployment at the border as well. Foreign aid, 4X the amount of money allocated for border barrier funding, $5.3 billion for the countries combined for the countries of Ukraine, Israel, and Jordan. So is this a deal that Trump loyalists just need to swallow hard and accept, forget keeping score right now, win or loss, and think about the long game, which is 2020? We'll put that to our friend Sean Davis, co-founder of thefederalist.com, who joins us now. Sean, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So what about it? Where do you come down on what we know about what is heading to what will likely head to the president's desk?
Well, I think everyone learned a valuable lesson in watching how this whole thing played out in Congress. So I personally don't think it should be viewed as, oh, this was a win for Trump or a loss for Trump. Trump. This wasn't really about him. This is about what Congress does. And just like we saw with Obamacare repeal, where Republicans had promised for years and years, if you just give us the House, in the Senate, in the White House. This is the first thing we're going to do. And what we learned is that in the Senate, particularly, Republicans didn't really want to repeal Obamacare. They had just used that rhetoric to get themselves elected, to get more power to do other things. And the immigration border security debate has really been a replay of that exact same thing, where they promised to do it, they promised to do it. Well, you know what? They had majorities in Congress to do this. They could have done it. They didn't do it, and the reason they didn't do it is because they don't want to do it. So I look at the whole thing not through the lens of is this good for Republicans or bad for Trump or good for Democrats, but is this good for the American public? Is it good for national sovereignty and national security? And I think, no, it's not at all. I think the whole thing's a farce.
What about a pathway to citizenship for Dreamers? Is that got lost in the conversation?
I think that's all part of the conversation. I don't think it is outside of the realm of possibility that Republicans or even Trump would agree to that. But you can't, you don't really want to talk about if you have a big leak in your plumbing in your home. The first thing you need to do before you think about what should I do with all this water in the house is what do I need to do to make sure water stops flooding into the house? And after that's done and after you know your leak's been taken care of, then you can start discussing, okay, what's the best way to take care of what's already in the house now? I can't reverse time and deal with that, so how do I address it now? I feel like that's how you need to address the immigration debate. Until you plug the holes in the border, until you stop illegal immigrants from amassing and pouring over the borders, you've got to stop that before you start saying, well, who should get citizenship or not? You have to secure the border. That has to be the first thing you do.
But aren't we in a situation, though, and President Trump specifically in the situation where, look, even if I got everything I asked for, that's not going to end the conversation about immigration to the point you were just making. All of these other issues that are all kind of under the umbrella of immigration policy, they would continue to be hotly discussed and debated. It's going to be an important issue again in 2020. So why not sort of end this chapter in the long-term battle and focus on things that really are marginalizing the left right now, like, for example, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's ravings?
Oh, I think that's a fair point, and I think that's probably where Trump will end up. It wouldn't surprise me to see him sign it and claim victory and then maybe still declare a national emergency to unfreeze some other funds that he can use for border security. He may well veto it knowing that Congress is going to override him, and then that way that it has the effect of putting that particular debate on the back burner for a little while without Trump having to get his hands dirty by approving it. And I completely agree. The only thing Democrats and the left have to do to beat Trump and Republicans is not be insane. That's all they have to do to win in 2020.
Can't do it.
And as we've watched... Go ahead.
No, I'd say they can't do it. Bridge too far. Not going to happen.
Yeah, so you see Ilhan Omar, you see Rashid Tlaib, you see these just raging anti-Semites in Congress. You see the lefty environmental, not even socialist, almost communist kooks like Ocasio-Cortez just going absolutely nuts, saying that their goal here is to ban cars and planes and, quote, they need to ban farting cows, which is actually a phrase that ended up on Ocasio-Cortez's official white paper summary of her Green New Deal.
Did it really?
The thing is so absurd. It's so bad for Democrats. I have no problem with Republicans running against that and making Democrats own that nonsense for the next year and a half.
Well, then what do you think of Mitch McConnell, though, calling it to the Senate floor? Like, let's take a vote on it. Let's see where you stand on this Green New Deal.
I think it's great. That is, it's not as revolutionary or in your face as I think a lot of people have said. That's a very common election year or election season tactic where you take the other side's most ridiculous plans, you put it into legislative language, and you make them vote on it. But I love the idea. Put all of these Democrat, senator, presidential candidates who endorsed that absurd Green New Deal on the record for voting for ending cars and ending plane travel and requiring high-speed rail and getting rid of those just awful, awful farting cows.
I mean, how do you, even the people we're supposed to take seriously, the senators running for president on the Dem side. I mean, you got Elizabeth Warren lying about being an Indian. You got Cory Booker having an imaginary friend. And then Kamala Harris yesterday this week, she lied about when she was smoking dope and the music she was listening to in college. I mean, it's all just sort of manufactured, woozy dream business on the left. And so where do they come up with somebody who will be taken seriously by, anybody that's not wearing a pea hat?
Well, yeah, that's the challenge for Democrats, is that their base has gotten so crazy, so increasingly leftist and socialist, that you almost wonder if someone who can get elected by normal people can even make it out of a Democrat primary. And Democrats actually have a similar problem in 2020 to what Republicans had in 2016, which is it's just a clown car of candidates. Republicans at least had an instant front runner the second he announced in Donald Trump. Once he was in, he was sucking up all the oxygen. He was the main guy the whole time. He won the primary, won the general. You don't really have that particular dynamic with the Democrats this year because there is no obvious front runner. And so it's going to create a really, really interesting dynamic where a bunch of them are trying to vie for leftist progressive support, which may box them out once the general comes along from getting any sort of moderate or independent support.
He is Sean Davis. He's the co-founder of The Federalist, thefederalist.com. Sean, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The quivers, the shivers, goosebumps. That's what our customers say before 1 hour heating and air conditioning repairs their furnace. Call us. We'll fix it right, stand by our work, and give you our straightforward pricing, which means no hourly charges. How's that for goosebumps? Right now, get big savings on any heating repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Is your mattress helping you get the best night's sleep? If you wake up with back stiffness, pain, here's a great alternative. Instead of buying a new expensive mattress, the MyPillow mattress topper costs a tiny, tiny fraction of what a new mattress costs and offers superior support. The patented 3-layer design is durable, provides optimal comfort by evenly distributing body weight to relieve pressure points, and keeps your body temperature regulated throughout the night. Plus, the cover is washable, dryable, and comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and 10-year warranty. Here's the deal. For a limited time, too, use the promo code Amy, and you'll receive 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper. Plus, they're going to kick in 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. You'll completely transform the way you sleep and feel. You'll feel a whole lot better. So visit MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or simply call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, MyPillow.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had seen my kidney doctor because I only have one kidney that works, and the other one doesn't work at all. And I was pretty close to going on dialysis if it didn't improve. This last visit to my kidney doctor, my kidney it's operating at 21% now. So that's the highest that it's been in the last 8 years. This is really working well for me, and I am so grateful that I found you guys.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 20% off any first preferred order of Balance of Nature and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
It's been around since 1884. Of course, I'm talking about St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. It's a private college prep and leadership development school that's for young men and now for young ladies. St. John's is an excellent co-ed environment. It is not a school for troubled kids, but one that will prepare them for college by focusing on rigorous academics and leadership. The alumni include heads of state, key business leaders, professional athletes, accomplished artists, statesmen, politicians. The list goes on and on. Their goal, again, is to prepare cadets for success. If you want to see a virtual tour for yourself, go to YouTube, type in Amy Jacobson and St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, and you could see for yourself the wonderful place. That is St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. There's always open enrollment, ongoing enrollment, which means there's always time to get your son or daughter into St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. For more information, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET, or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Come on, kids. We're late.
Honey, the car won't start.
Mom, the dog just sat on my science project.
Life can be stressful, but getting life insurance shouldn't be. That's why there's Ethos. Ethos is a modern kind of life insurance that's super fast, incredibly affordable, and very uncomplicated. At getethos.com, there are no medical exams for policies covering under $1 million, no hours of paperwork or meetings with pushy representatives. It only takes 10 minutes to apply, and you can rest assured knowing you've taken steps to protect your family. And in most cases, with Ethos, you can have that peace of mind for less than a cup of coffee a day with no hidden fees. Having life insurance can free you from stress. Getting life insurance shouldn't cause it. Discover how uncomplicated life insurance can be at Ethos. Get your free instant quote and submit your complete application in minutes. Just go to getethos.com. That's ETHOS. Getethos.com. Getethos.com.
Let's face it, everyone loves to shop. From my experience of meeting a famous politician in the Hermes store in Paris,
to my unforgettable experience test driving my first 600 horsepower car, in which I said, I'll take it, before it even hit 60 miles an hour.
we are pretty sure everyone has at least one unforgettable shopping experience. Hello, we are Carrie and
Ken,
founders of Income Store. Have you ever considered shopping for your next income? And we don't mean your next job. Did you know that you can walk into Income Store's website through a door on the left or a door on the right?
if you're just starting out or you simply have more time than money, you're going to enter our website on the left. If you've got more money than time, then definitely the right door is for you.
If you're looking to increase revenue in your home or business and would like to create a brand new, greatest shopping memory, all you have to do is change where you shop. Check out one of the two doors at incomestore.com.
That's incomestore.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, congratulations to JC. She is the Minnesota women's powerlifting state champion.
But the problem is she is not a she. She is a he. And took the title away from some woman who deserved it. I mean, when is this going to end?
JC only took up weightlifting a year ago, and now she is the state champion. I mean, what a prodigy. Isn't that?
I wonder how she was able to compete after just a year in the
She's a natural.
sport. Oh, sure she is.
I mean, not a natural woman, but yeah, there's an organization, interesting, called Fair Play for Women. Dr. Antonia Lee was tweeting about this. She's got a lot of important points here. Maybe you want to consider
get her on the show.
How you consider that? I mean, do you want your daughters having to compete against men? What about your boys competing against women? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Powerful, Dr. Lee tweets, powerful LGBT rights organizations pushing the right of male-born powerlifters to compete in female competition, despite clear evidence that developing and training on testosterone gives them unfair advantage against women. You don't say.
Oh, and JC set the new state record in women's bench, by the way.
I said prodigy.
And best overall lifter.
What a find in Minnesota. Powerful U.S. politicians pushing the right of male-born powerlifters to compete in male-female competition, despite that same clear evidence. You know who is one of the individuals pushing it when she talks about politicians?
Amy Klobuchar, what's her name?
Good guess. Our friend, the anti-Semite.
Representative
Ilhan Omar. Yeah. She tweeted,
of course she is.
I've requested an investigation into USA Powerlifting's discrimination against a member of the Minnesota trans community. That's the problem here. You can't discriminate against men competing with women in powerlifting. Dr. Lee continues, we are fighting for the right of female athletes to have fair and meaningful competition, If you're a female athlete or sports professional who cares about the future of female sport, help strengthen our voice by sharing your story in confidence with us. The fact that you have to do it in confidence for fear of reprisal says everything about where this culture's at. And as I've said for years and years and years now, ever since this junk science on gender started gaining popularity, when women's sports are eliminated, is that when people are going to stand up and take notice and stand up against this poisonous political ideology?
And we fought so hard for male-free spaces, for privacy and safety and fairness and female sports. I mean, my mom was growing up. They didn't have any female sports. They had synchronized swimming. That was it. No organized sports for women.
Yeah.
And I don't want. I mean, I coach girls. I don't want. God forbid if a guy shows up to try out for a girls' team.
How about all the
transgender?
How about when all the record setters in women's sports are men?
No, I know. Yeah, because that's going to happen.
Mo on the northwest side.
Hey, how you doing? I mean, where are all the scientists? Where are all the doctors? Do you recall people getting in trouble for taking steroids because it's enhancing their testosterone?
Yeah.
I mean, women naturally make estrogen. That's it, around 14 grams, 30 grams a day. Men are making between 200 and 1,100 a day. Now we have a situation where they're saying, let's just throw away biology and science. Forget about it. Because these people want to do whatever they want to do just for the sake of what?
Power.
Can someone answer that? What are they
Power.
doing it for?
Thanks for the call. What are they doing it for? Power. Power, power, power. Deconstruct the foundations of Western civilization, marriage, gender. Power, 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 power. This is all the state. Anytime you look at something like what is happening culturally, this follow the money, follow the pursuit of power. It always traces back to the same source. Andrew in Aurora. Hey, Andrew.
Hello?
Yep, you're on.
Yeah, I have a stepdaughter who thought it would be a good idea a few years back in high school to join wrestling, and there is no women's wrestling, so she was on the basically men's wrestling team. And after a couple of weeks in a meet, not to let alone watching what it looked like to have all the boys basically grabbing her, but a bigger guy that she had to compete against smashed her foot. I mean, she just got severely injured from the experience, which put her in a cast and, more or less put her out of the running for a scholarship that she was looking for at sports in one of the military academies. So there's some serious consequences when you start thinking it's a good idea to just sort of mix the sexes and eliminate these distinctions between male and female competition.
Thanks for the call, Andrew. Those are the stories that don't get told. Everybody wants to celebrate the girl who's kicking field goals on the football team. Those are the stories that don't get told when you actually try to advance this, culturally across the board without consideration other than for politics.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, wait until you hear what Jussie had to say on Good Morning America about that night in question. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Cloudy skies, 40 degrees. There may be some rain on the way. Lanes are blocked on the inbound Kennedy Expressway for quite some time this morning. Following reports of a shooting, Jim Telemonte will have more on any residual delays there. And ice falling from buildings has been causing street closures in the Loop and along Michigan Avenue this morning, along some of the taller structures in the city. Federal judge this morning says former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort lied to the special counsel's team and breached his plea agreement. NBC's Pete Williams tells us U.S. District Court Judge Amy Jackson found that Manafort lied in 3 of 5 occurrences.
She said he lied about his contacts with Konstantin Kalimnik, a former employee of Manafort's consulting business, described earlier by Mueller as a man with ties to Russian intelligence. Prosecutors said the two men met during the Trump campaign and after the election.
Manafort also lied, according to the special counsel, about legal bills funneled through a Trump campaign committee. At least 2 U.S. citizens are among 5 killed in a plane crash in Kenya. 5 are hurt after a plane heading from Southern California to Seattle had to land in Reno. That Delta flight ran into severe turbulence yesterday and took a nosedive twice. The FBI is hoping sketches drawn by a serial killer will help connect him to cold cases around the country. Bobby Capone is a former FBI agent.
These sketches now become, the link to a family that is missing someone. They can now make that connection.
Samuel Little is serving a life sentence in Texas after DNA results linked him to the unsolved murders of 3 women in the late 1980s. The 78-year-old former boxer has confessed to 90 murders. An Illinois congressman headed to the southern border with Mexico with the rest of his Air National Guard unit. Adam Kinzinger represents the state's 16th district. Jason Van Dyke appears to be having a tough time in prison. Reports say the former police officer was beaten in his cell by fellow inmates shortly after his transfer from an Illinois facility in Rock Island County to Connecticut last week. His wife will discuss that attack later today. And the iconic mustard used by Cleveland sports fans for generations will have a new look this spring. Burtman Mustard executives say the new ballpark mustard will roll out this month with the conspicuous absence of former Cleveland Indians mascot Chief Wahoo. The company says the logo had to be dropped as part of its partnership with the ball club, but they claim the flavor will stay the same. Otto Porter Jr., 37, in the Bulls win over the Grizzlies, 122-110. College hoops, Fighting Illini in Columbus tonight. Last night, Northwestern lost to Rutgers, 59-56 in the Valley. First place Loyola lost to Bradley. The news service of Russell Stover. Russell Stover is here to remind you that Valentine's Day is today. It's time to pick up the Russell Stover heart-shaped box full of chocolates for your Valentine. Don't forget, go now. Russell Stover, and make happy. 7:35, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees the left ruining this country.
What is this now from Kamala Harris? Racism is real in America. Whoa. If you think America's saturated with sexism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, and transphobia, and racism, how can you not be angry? God, are they frauds? They're ruining my country. Do you understand? The greatest experiment in human history is being ruined by these people.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spaveri's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When it comes to your pain, many of you might be skeptical, like I was, about ordering Relief Factor. Pat Boone again for this wonderful 100% drug-free supplement designed to help your own body lower or eliminate occasional aches and pains due to aging, exercise, everyday living. I'm not skeptical any longer. The 3-week quick start is now discounted to only $19.95. Why don't you let us see if we can get you out of pain too at ReliefFactor.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Chicago is a big city, 234 square miles. We have 50 aldermen to watch over our neighborhoods, but only one police superintendent. As mayor, I will add 3 more superintendents and form separate districts for them to be responsible for and bringing top management to the police force closer to our citizens.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
$7:38, a check on the roads. We do that in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonti.
All lanes are open on the inbound Kennedy at Diversey after an early morning shooting. It's 53 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 39 from Montrose, 25 on the Express. Outbound 37 minutes to O'Hare. Edens runs 22 minutes, Lake Junction, outbound 27. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes, 390 to downtown, 42 from Manheim, outbound 40 to 390. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan is 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bridgeport, 45. Southbound Lakeshore Drives, heavy Irving Park to Fullerton. Delays on the northbound Veterans Memorial, 63rd to Reagan Tollway. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, cloudy, mild, shower in spots this afternoon. High of 44, currently 40 degrees. Your next news update is at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
It's kind of the month of February, builds you up to Valentine's Day. That's when they all have all the trinkets out and candies, shoving it down our throats that you have to be loved by somebody today.
On AM 560.
The only reason for this day is for me to take and not give. I want chocolate.
Chocolate! The Answer.
Yeah, lovely Valentine's Day sentiment from our listener, one of our listeners, Dennis in Crystal Lake there.
Did you send Dennis chocolate? Because that's all he wants. I want chocolate.
I heard loud and clear. We also heard loud and clear Jesse Smollett break his silence this morning on Good Morning America in one of those softball interviews Robin Roberts has become famous for.
Well, she looked very concerned, because are you okay, Jesse? Is it going to be okay? But the first question she asked was, what happened that night?
What happened that night, Jesse?
When I landed in Chicago, and Frank Gatson, who's like my uncle, and he's also my creative director, and he picked me up. And then we got back to the apartment. There was no food. And so I went out to Walgreens thinking that they were 24 hours and to have a smoke. Walgreens was closed. So I called him up and I said, hey, I'm going to run to Subway, which was across the street, and I'm going to get a salad. Do you want anything? I went to the Subway and got the order. During that time, I texted my manager thinking that he was still in Australia because he was on an Australian tour with one of his other clients. And I said, yo, call me when you can. He called me immediately. And while he was on the phone, I heard, as I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire. And I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire. And I didn't answer. I kept walking, and then I heard Empire. So I turned around and I said, did you just say to me? And I see the attacker masked. And he said, this MAGA country punches me right in the face. So I punched his back. And then we started tussling. It was very icy. And we ended up tussling by the stairs. Fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back. And then it just stopped. And they ran off. And I saw where they ran. And the phone was in my pocket, but it had fallen out. And it was sitting there. And my manager was still on the phone. So I picked up the phone and I said, Brandon. And he's like, what's going on? And I said, I was just jumped. And then I looked down and I see that there's a rope around my neck, which I hadn't.
You hadn't noticed it before?
No,
you didn't
because
see?
It was so fast. You know what I'm saying? It was so fast.
How long did this all
It felt like minutes, but it probably was like 30 seconds, honestly. I can't tell you, honestly. I noticed the rope around my neck, and I started screaming. And I said, there's a rope around my neck.
So I guess a couple of things just from that statement. One is, I wonder if police have any information about injuries to his hands, scrapes on his hands, because he said, and this I hadn't heard this before,
that he punched back. I never knew that before.
Punched back. So if he was in an altercation with two guys and then he threw a punch as well and landed it, that's the way he sounded. I wonder if there's anything on his hands.
There almost would have to be.
Well, maybe.
So he first refused Chicago police to come over and help him.
Well, one other thing. The other thing is they just ran off. You're in a fight. You're fighting back. A second guy's kicking you, and then they just run off. Well, do you have any idea? Do you have any idea why they would just run off if they're in this scrape with you? Why would they just then stop and run off?
And not finish him? I don't know. I mean, maybe they're just trying to send a message. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I would be interested to hear his perspective on that question.
Yeah, he couldn't. It's wintertime in Chicago. People walk around with ski masks. He couldn't say what race they were.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that they were the guys in the surveillance video. We've played that earlier for you. But this is what happened with what was the interaction like with Chicago police?
So during that time before they came, it took them about maybe half hour to come. And during that time, I was looking at myself, just like checking myself out. I saw the bruise on my neck, like the little, the rope burn around my neck. And then I smelled bleach. I know the smell of bleach. And I saw on my sweatshirt, it had marks on it, like spots on it, when you have a bad bleach job. So then I was like, there's bleach on me too. So when the police came, I kept the clothes on. I kept the rope.
So you had the rope on the entire time?
I mean, it wasn't like wrapped around, but yeah, it was around because I wanted them to see. I wanted them to see what this was. I told them what happened, everything. I also asked them to turn their body cams off because they were trying to stay in the hallway. And I was like, please just come in. Like, I don't want a big scene with my neighbors and with like the second round of police officers. I went down to where it happened and I walked them through exactly what happened. And I looked up and I saw that there was a camera directly on the light post that is in the intersection. So I'm like, there it is. And then the detective told me that the camera inside of the casing was facing north.
So he doesn't remember, didn't realize it at the time, either that rope was being put around his neck or that he was being doused with bleach.
He claimed, did you hear him? He said he had a rope burn on his neck.
Right.
But he doesn't remember. He just looked down and there was a rope. If somebody was pulling you with a rope, I would remember that. It's like all of a sudden, poof, I look down. Oh, wait, I have a rope around my neck. But it's not tied tight because he said that.
But it was tight enough to create a burn.
And listen to this. This is racial. This whole incident is racial. Listen.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're going to Subway. Sub-zero.
Subway's open 24 hours. Like, people kill me when they say things like that because it's like Subway is open 24 hours for a reason. So that when you're hungry at night and you ain't got no food, you go to Subway. The camera facing north. Okay. How is that my issue? It feels like if I had said it was a Muslim or a Mexican or someone black,
right.
I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot more. And that says a lot about the place that we are in our country right now.
No, I don't think so. Jesse. I think it's the specifics and your actions since the alleged attack occurred. That's the issue. Somebody is indifferent to somebody being beaten up, and that was allegedly racially motivated or motivated because he's gay. I mean, I don't know how anybody would know that. I don't even know how anybody would know who this guy is. A couple of white guys with MAGA hats, big Trump supporters, and big Empire fans. Okay, it's possible.
I don't think there's one that exists.
I'd like to see the Venn diagram. That's all.
Okay.
I'd like to see the Venn diagram of Empire watchers and Trump loyalists, or racist Trump supporter Empire watchers. I'd like to see that Venn. But it's cheap. It's cheap for him to bring race into it. The reason he's doing this interview is because there are doubters. If this was marginal, if this was proceeding in a sensible way that wasn't prompting questions, including, by the way, from Chicago police saying, for example, as we reported yesterday, the redacted phone log you gave us can't support a criminal investigation. We need more. So that's being uncooperative. So if there weren't issues like that, then we wouldn't be raising the questions that have been raised, so much so that you felt the need to go on to Good Morning America to have your one-sided say to try to, essentially buttress your claims.
Well, Robin Roberts asked him about his phone, why he didn't initially hand it over, and then these heavily redacted phone records that don't prove at all that he was on the phone with his manager at the time of the attack that he just said happened.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to do that.
Why?
Because I have private pictures and videos and numbers. My partner's number, my family's number, my castmates' number, my friends' numbers, my private emails, my private songs, my private voice memos. I don't know what that's going to be to hand over my phone for. And honestly, by then, inaccurate, false statements had already been put out there.
Well, so what? So inaccurate, false statements have been put out there, so correct the record. I mean, the point is not to, win the narrative competition in the public arena. It's to help police solve this crime and find the attackers, isn't it?
All he could have done is gone to recent phones and showed them that, look, at this time at 2 a.m.-ish, I was on the phone with my manager. Our phone conversation lasted 12 minutes. That's all he had to do. He wouldn't even do that.
Yeah, he could.
He wouldn't hand over his phone, and then the phone records that he handed over does not prove that he was on the phone with his manager at the time of the alleged attack.
He could.
Bottom line.
You could have somebody dupe it or dupe portions of the data on the phone. I mean, it's not that onerous. Fine, I get it. Whatever. Let's say, hey, he's skeptical of police. He's a black gay man. He's bought into the Black Lives Matter rhetoric. Let's just say, for example,
he
so
hates President Trump. Have you seen
whatever,
his tweets?
whatever. So I'm just saying, plausible. Trying to present something that's plausible from his perspective. Let's say he's takes the perspective that police are antagonists; they're not his friends, and so he's reticent to turn it all over. Okay, fine, but then don't claim this is racially motivated when people are asking questions. They'd be asking questions regardless who the attackers are, because by the way, one of the questions is with respect to the attackers. I mean, there are people, let's find the alleged attackers. Why isn't there on video? People are asking that question not because of the prospective race of whoever allegedly attacked him, because where are the attackers? Let's get them. Let's get them if they're out there.
Yeah.
And let's help police get them.
Right, but the one surveillance video that they released, they have not received one tip from anyone.
Except that one woman who, provided that sort of eyewitness account of
TMZ
of the guy she saw standing outside when she walked her dog, but that hasn't led anywhere.
Yeah, because it didn't happen. They checked surveillance video, and there was no two guys standing out there wearing camel dress shoes.
And by the way, there's a lot of residents in Streeterville, as interviewed by the New York Post, my neighborhood, by the way, who don't believe his story. And it's not because they're Trump loyalists or racists.
No,
they
just
don't buy it.
Muslims, they interviewed African Americans, and none of them believe him.
John and Woodridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, this guy's a good actor, man. He's just playing good acting, and I think the manager set all this up for him for his good publicity. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, John. Manager or creative director?
Well, he has his creative director, Fred, who's like an uncle to him, and then his manager is the one whose apartment he was in when police arrived.
Phil in Deerfield.
Good morning, guys. Can you give me an example of a case where the police department, any police department, anywhere in America, has taken personal information obtained from a phone and used it to their advantage, where there's been an investigation or there's been a crime committed and it's gone in jail? That's like someone saying, I don't want to give you my personal information to get a mortgage.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the call. Yeah, I mean,
it's ridiculous. They're not going to go through his notes and his songs and steal his lyrics.
I have my partner's phone number on there. So
we don't even know you have a partner. We don't care.
Well, so what? What do you think the police are going to do? They're
going to call your
detectives are going to start calling everybody in your phone and say, "Hey, I got your number from Jussie. I just wanted to say hi."
Yeah, what's the guy? Terrence Howard. What's the name? The lead guy from Empire.
Yeah, Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
Who also should be interacting with police more often, or less often, as the case may be. That guy's a bad dude. Yeah. Not a good person.
No, not a good person. I agree.
John in Palatine.
Hey, Dan and Amy. I was thinking about it from a practical perspective, and back to my time in grade school when you have to remember it was sub-zero weather, and when that happened, my mom would bundle me up, and I'd wear a Spider-Man mask And I don't think a baseball cap could fit over a mask. And he's talking about plural, too. So did they actually have outfits, like 2 masks with 2 MAGA caps? And during the scuffle, all of this garb is still staying together. So it just sounds really weird. The police should investigate that.
Thanks for the call, John.
Well, they said this is MAGA country, but they weren't wearing MAGA hats.
Right. Yeah. Because they had ski masks on. That's why I couldn't identify the race, right?
Right. You couldn't tell their eye color either. Whatever.
David in McCook. Hey, David.
Hey, happy Valentine Day, guys.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Would you be my Valentine?
Thank you. Hey, this guy should win an Academy Award, and I'm not talking about his role on Empire. What a liar.
Okay.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The most popular days to get engaged are Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day. And guys, finding the perfect wedding venue can be harder to figure out than the color and quality of the perfect diamond. With love in the air, Avante Banquets is here to help you plan the wedding of your dreams for the party of a lifetime at a price right for you. Avante Banquets is part of the family-owned Chicago Prime Restaurants, with a picturesque location opened just last year near Barrington, providing fine American dining and a timeless experience. Avante is an exceptional space for your wedding or corporate events and fundraisers for an intimate gathering or parties of 500 or more. The calendar is filling up, so secure your date today at AvanteBanquets.com. That's AVANTE Banquets.com. With wedding packages starting at just $39 a person. Experience exceptional hospitality with the Calcunos family at Avante Banquets, because classic never goes out of style. AvanteBanquets.com. AvanteBanquets.com.
Hey, it's Valentine's Day, and do something different. Do something unique. Buy her, your wife or girlfriend, a bottle of Balance of Nature. Why not? It includes 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies in a capsule to boost your immune system and to keep you healthy all winter long. You've heard the testimonials on this air. I can tell you they are 100% real. I've spent time with Dr. Douglas Howard, founder and creator of Balance of Nature. Showed me the emails, played the voicemails. This is for real. So here's what you do. Go to balanceofnature.com, type Chicago in the promo code for 35% off your order by using the promo code Chicago. Or call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Again, the promo code is Chicago for that 35% off your first set of fruits and veggies from Balance of Nature. And happy Valentine's Day.
My name is David Hochberg at Team Hochberg. If you're looking to refinance, please call Team Hochberg. Mike, self-employed, lives in a $1 million home in Glenview, called to refinance and combined his $500,000 expiring adjustable rate mortgage and a $100,000 HELOC. Mike planned on moving when his daughter graduates high school in 5 years, so to help Mike afford his constantly increasing and ridiculously expensive real estate taxes, I recommended an interest-only loan. Mike was hesitant at first, but after I explained his monthly payment would decrease over $1,100 a month, he told us to immediately get the ball rolling. If you're interested in lowering your monthly mortgage payment, like Mike, call the local mortgage experts right now on Team Hochberg at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com.
Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 66761019, NMLS 1124061.
Hey, listen. Did you hear that? That's the sound of silence, the absent sound of your loved one's laugh, the phone that never rings, the void left because you convinced yourself their addiction was under control. Don't let the shame of addiction prevent you from addressing their disease. USA Addiction knows that the first step is the hardest. That's why they help guide you through the journey to recover with care and compassion. Their nationally certified family recovery coaches lead you every step of the way, from a free initial conversation to planning an intervention to finding the best facility that will save your loved one's life. Go to freeaddictionbook.com and enter your email to their confidential portal. You'll receive their free guide to family addiction and intervention and free consultation. And that's freeaddictionbook.com. for a real solution to prevent that heartache. Now is the time to take action. USA Addiction, helping Americans one step at a time.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy are talking about Jesse Smollett's Good Morning America interview. Brad in the West Loop, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, yeah, hi, Dan and Amy. Yeah, I've been an extra on the show. I'm a white Trump supporter. I'm conflicted. I've never had anything but positive interactions with him. I've been directed by him, been around him a lot, and he's just a great guy. And I honestly don't know what to think.
Well, do you think he made up the story to help his career?
I don't know why he would have. That's the thing. I don't know what he was doing. I mean, you're asking for the one guy who watches the show who's white and Trump supporter. That's me.
Okay.
I've been on it, but,
we
that's
found
a Venn
him,
diagram. Dan. Yeah, a sliver.
Yeah, I don't know why he would have done it. I don't know what he would have gained from doing it in the first place. He didn't have to go to the police in the first place. What prompted him? That's the question.
Yeah.
If he's faking it, why did he do that in the first place? He didn't need the attention.
Because he had an 8 a.m. Wasn't he supposed to be at work at 8 a.m. the next day and he had a bruise on his face?
Yeah, but they got makeup. They could have delayed the scene. They could have done so many things. They've covered for a lot of other people, for actors and other shows, for things.
They gotta put makeup on all of Terrence Howard's girlfriends.
Heyo.
Thanks for the call, Brad. Appreciate the perspective.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Dr. Anthony Levatino at 8:08.
But first, here's Mike Scott.
Falling ice leads to street closures in the city of Chicago. A cloudy and mild day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
He was worried President Trump could be a Russian agent. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's why former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe says he started the investigations. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
In an interview with CBS's 60 Minutes that will air this Sunday, former FBI Director Andrew McCabe confirmed that he opened the investigation into the president because of concerns about his possible ties to Russia.
I wanted to make sure that our case was on solid ground, and if somebody came in behind me and closed it and tried to walk away from it, they would not be able to do that without creating a record of why they'd made that decision.
McCabe, who was fired by then Attorney General Jeff Sessions, said that he realized he may have burned a bridge with the president after expressing concerns to the president about his firing of FBI Director James Comey. Dave?
John, Republican Congressman Devin Nunes, who led a Russia investigation in the House, just reacted to Fox.
You now know that the deputy director of the FBI was relying on Democratic paid-for dirt that came from Russians to investigate another candidate.
Meanwhile, former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort called a liar in court as a judge voids his plea deal with special counsel Mueller for making false statements instead of cooperating with the Russia probe. The Senate, then House, may vote today on the bipartisan compromise to avert another government shutdown.
This is a drop in the bucket to deal with the crisis that we're facing on the border.
Republican Congressman Jody Hice opposes it. Democrats say it's a manufactured crisis and urge President Trump to sign the bill that gives him just a quarter of the wall funding he wants. It's a half day at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, 1 year after the massacre that left 17 students and adults dead, including Andrew Pollock's daughter, Meadow. And he told the Fox News Rundown podcast,
"Every day I live my daughter getting murdered, so I don't need February 14th to remind me that's the day my daughter was murdered on."
And there's a deal in Denver to end a 3-day teacher strike. It would give them an up to 11% pay increase. This is Fox News.
Skies are cloudy, 40 degrees. 8:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Ice falling from buildings caused street closures in the Loop and on Michigan Avenue, or along Michigan Avenue. No injuries reported. Some vehicles and building windows sustained damage. Jason Van Dyke appears to be having a tough time early in prison. Reports say the former Chicago police officer was beaten in his cell by fellow inmates shortly after being transferred from Illinois' Rock Island County to a federal facility in Connecticut last week. His wife is planning to discuss that attack later today. Candidate running for Chicago Mayor Amara Enya is being sued by a former campaign spokeswoman. Christy Kucera filed that lawsuit, claiming Enya refused to pay her $24,000 for 4 months of work. The candidate responded on Facebook, saying Kucera understood she was working on a volunteer basis early in the campaign, but resigned before they could agree on a paid position. A retired Illinois Department of Corrections officer who was beaten outside of his suburban Chicago home has died. Hazel Crest police say Keith Chamble was pronounced dead this week. The 60-year-old had been on life support since the February 6 attack. A little more than 2 years after Illinois lawmakers approved a $200 million bailout for Exelon's nuclear plants in Illinois, the company says it needs more help. Exelon is threatening to close plants in Byron, Dresden, and Braidwood. The company says if the plants aren't profitable, says the plants are not profitable, but they're open to working with Illinois lawmakers again. Otto Porter Jr., 37. In the Bulls' 122-110 win over the Grizzlies. College hoops, Northwestern lost to Rutgers. First place Loyola fell to Bradley, 61-54 in the Valley. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Coca-Cola's reporting a mixed quarter. It was selling more Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, water, and sports drinks. Tea and coffee sales increased too. Sales of juice, dairy, and plant-based beverages declined. Coca-Cola's earnings were weaker than expected. Canada Goose is selling more of its luxury parkas. Its earnings were stronger than expected for the holiday quarter. Canada Goose is predicting a stronger year. It is also planning a second factory in Quebec. Outback Steakhouse had a better-than-expected holiday quarter. Bloomin' Brands, its parent company, says business improved and it opened 30 new restaurants recently, including 24 outside the U.S. Business also improved at Carrabba's Italian Grill, which is also owned by Bloomin' Brands. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think, too. Until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it, trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free, no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-600-9519. That's 1-800-600-9519. 1-800-600-9519.
You've invested a lot in your company's resources and reputation, so it's a logical next step to consider implementing or upgrading a commercial security system to protect your company and assets. Of course, you want to maximize ROI, so it's important to weigh the pros and cons of a business security system and determine how simple or complex of a system your business may need. Business security systems range in size and scale from simple individual alarm and camera systems to fully integrated complex designs that incorporate access control, CCTV, and management from a single platform across multiple sites. 2Secure Inc., Chicagoland's business security experts, use the newest technology and can reduce costs by reusing your existing hardware and cable infrastructure. 2Secure is offering a free, no-obligation, live, on-site CCTV demo. See for yourself how a new or upgraded security system can work for your business. Call 708-990-4408 or visit 2secure.com, 708-990-4408, or online at the number 2secureinc.com.
Some job recruitment sites overload your inbox with resumes. Glassdoor knows not just any will do. From 62 million job seekers, Glassdoor only matches you with qualified candidates who have the skills and experience your small business needs to grow. In fact, Glassdoor hires are 30% more likely to stay with your company longer, and Glassdoor can help you find that perfect candidate in half the resumes. Go to glassdoor.com/hire. Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business.
What gives one company the edge over another? Maybe it's not one thing. Maybe it's taking care of lots of things that help a business run smoothly. In other words, Cintas. Cintas has products that help your people stay safe and apparel programs that convey the right image. They service fire protection equipment, deliver and stock restroom supplies, and make sure facilities are clean and ready. Because when all those things work together, you're in business.
Oh, I'm ready!
Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
It is 8:08. Let's get an update on your morning commute in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Southbound Tri-State traffic slow from 132 to Bradley, northbound Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Eastbound Reagan Tollway delays are 31 to Eola and Washington to Yackley. Northbound Veterans Memorial, out to the Reagan Tollway. Northbound 53 Algonquin to Kirchhoff. Southbound Rand to Kirchhoff. Kennedy is open again after an earlier shooting at Diversity, but it's an hour and 2 minutes, so here to downtown. Quicker in the Express. Eden's 22 minutes from Lake Cook Junction. Eisenhower, an hour and 3 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 50. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly cloudy, a little bit milder. A shower in places this afternoon, the high 44. Partly cloudy, breezy tonight and a low at 11. Mainly cloudy and colder for tomorrow with a high of 24. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
39 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. As we reported on this show, Governor Spalding and his merry band of House and Senate Democrats moving to compete with the Democrats in Virginia, the Democrats in New York, to be the most pro-infanticide party in the country. The 4 prongs that we reported would be included in legislation to move in Springfield this week are included. Repeal of parental notification, repeal of the partial birth abortion ban, insurance mandate, if you want to sell insurance plans in Illinois, you got to have the abortion coverage, and allow for non-doctors to perform abortions. Bit of a funny moment in Springfield, too, so you get a little bit of a sense of the ruling class mentality. Mike Madigan talking to Illinois News Network reporter Greg Bishop about term limits.
Speaker, the Senate caucus has leadership term limits. The Republican caucus has leadership term limits.
They should have term limits for you.
Oh. Should have term limits for you, the media. Media term limits, not politician term limits here.
He's going to be our overlord for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it's going very well. So this is a move building off of Benedict Ronner's signing of House Bill 40, taxpayer funding of abortion on demand. This is a move to, as we talked to Cesar LaFleur yesterday, to make Illinois the abortion capital of the country by targeting young people, young women, and minorities in particular, young female minorities in particular. Thus, the Planned Parenthood clinics going up in places like the south suburbs along the Indiana border, majority minority populations. We played, before our discussion with Cesar LaFleur yesterday, talking about the Crisis Pregnancy Center, Aid for Women Pregnancy Care Center that's opening up near that Planned Parenthood clinic in Flossmoor. Played an interview Lila Rose from Live Action did with Dr. Anthony Levatino, just trying to introduce some actual science, medicine about obstetrics into the conversation of partial birth and live birth and all of this ghoulish business that we've been discussing and watching play out over the last several weeks around the country. And got a lot of feedback from it because, people just don't know. I didn't know until I watched the interview, all the details that Dr. Levatino provided in terms of how you actually deal with tending to a female who is in a health crisis while pregnant. And it was really illuminating. So we thought, well, why don't we continue the conversation by getting the doctor himself? And so we have him, Dr. Anthony Levatino, OBGYN. Dr. Levatino, please, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
So we're just picking up on the move in states like Illinois, New York, Virginia to provide for late-term, I mean, in places like Virginia, according to the governor, full-term, outside of the womb, quote-unquote, abortions. And it's always couched in two ways: reproductive rights, number one, and number two, we're talking about cases of health and welfare of the mother. And you tackled the health and welfare of the mother of the patient, one of the two patients, very well. And I just wanted you to address that in that context of these late-term abortions.
Well, you know, if you ask the average person, name one Supreme Court decision, 99.9% of people will say Roe v. Wade, because most people don't know the name of any other Supreme Court decisions. And many people, of course, understand that Roe v. Wade basically established abortion as a, quote, right, but don't understand what the ruling actually says. Roe v. Wade set up, remember, and this was consistent with medicine in 1973 when Roe v. Wade was ruled on. It set up a trimester framework. Obstetricians use a trimester framework when we describe pregnancy. Pregnancy is 40 weeks long. And the first 13 weeks is the first trimester, up to about 27 weeks is the second trimester, and 27 to 40 weeks is the third trimester. And what Roe said about late-term procedures is that a state could prohibit abortions in the third trimester, this is 27 weeks until term, unless the woman's health was being affected. Now, and pro-aborts have used this very effectively over the years. I mean, who could possibly be against a woman's health? But lawyers in the audience understand that in law, every single word means something, and what Roe didn't do was define the term health. Now, there's a companion case the same day called Doe versus Bolton, which most people have never heard of. Doe did define health. It includes the mother's physical health, but it didn't say how severe it needed to be, how severely affected her health would have to be to justify a third trimester abortion. What if she had cancer? What if she was going to die? That's serious. What if her blood pressure was up? Well, that's treatable. What if she had a headache? It doesn't say. It also includes her mental health, but again, doesn't specify how seriously threatened her mental health would be. How about she's going to have a psychotic break? How about she's just stressed out? Doesn't say. It includes her economic health. Whoa, how rich do you have to be to qualify for a third trimester abortion? It doesn't say. And it also includes her social health. What in blazes does that mean? I wrote an op-ed recently that may get published about a case I had when I was doing abortions. A 17-year-old high school senior came in and requested and wanted an abortion, and I did it because her reason was she didn't want to be pregnant for her senior prom. So I assume that means her social health. And under Roe, I could justify a third trimester abortion based on that. So this dodge about health has been used for years. Many politicians have said, I'll support your pro-life legislation as long as it has a health exception. They look good because they're guarding women's health. And most people on the outside don't realize that when someone says that, he's actually saying, I'll be happy to support your legislation as long as there's an exception and it's so big, it effectively negates your law.
Right, and so, but then, so people will come back to that explanation and say, well, this is exactly why, doctor, the decision, regardless of where the mother is in her term, this is why the decision should be between the doctor and the woman and should be provided for up until, I don't know, up until the child can work outside the home, according to some people. But this is why. It shouldn't be, the government shouldn't be involved because of all these variables you just described. That makes it even more important that it's just the doctor and the woman.
I disagree, and I disagree loudly. Let me tell you another real-world situation, and you hear this. Well, we have to trust the woman and her doctor. Really? When I was doing abortions in New York, my partner and I, we had a hospital that we were working with on a regular basis where we did abortions on a regular basis. I mean, early ones we did in our office, and that's still the standard of care. But, when they got bigger, it got more dangerous, and we wanted them in a hospital setting for safety reasons, for the safety of the patient. Well, the board of the hospital did not want us doing abortions in their hospital and told us so. And so we, quote, negotiated with them because we did understand the law. And we pledged, we got them to agree to allow us to do abortions only if they were medically necessary. And using that very same definition I just told you, we just continued doing abortions just like we did before with no restriction at all. All we did from then on was write in the chart, I certified that this abortion is medically necessary and signed my name.
When did
doctors are an interested party. They're making money doing these things.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how they make their living. I'm not faulting anybody for making a living. But don't sit there and tell me that, that patient's being driven by God knows what forces. And meanwhile, the doctor this is how he makes his living. And we're going to leave the decision up to them. We are killing viable, unborn children. A woman is paying a doctor money to kill her perfectly viable, in many cases, unborn son or daughter. And we're going to leave the decision entirely up to them with no state oversight whatsoever. This is absurd.
Well, when did you change your mind? I mean, you've performed over 1,200 abortions in the first and second trimesters. What happened, or when was your aha moment? Not to sound like Oprah, but what happened?
My aha moment. Well, as I tell people, I was very dedicated to the idea of abortion. This is a decision, and I took the same tack you just talked about. This is a woman between, this is a decision between a woman, her doctor, and nobody, including the baby's dad, had anything to say about it. And I was very dedicated to that. I was doing these abortions up to 24 weeks. My aha moment came when my daughter, who was 2 months short of being 6 years old, was killed in an auto accident. You've got parents out there listening to this, and if you have children, you may think you have some idea of what that might be like to lose a child. Unless you've been through this yourself, you have absolutely no idea whatsoever, and I pray to God you never find out. But what do you do after a disaster? I mean, you bury your child and you try to get back into your life. And I don't remember exactly how long it was, maybe 2 or 3 or maybe 3 or 4 weeks after her death. But I showed up at the hospital to do a late-term second trimester D&E abortion. And when I talk about this in front of a group, I describe the abortion so people understand what we're talking about. You have to literally tear a baby to pieces with your bare hands. I mean, it's, using instruments, of course, but that's what the procedure is. And I began the procedure, just routine, tore out an arm or a leg and stared at it in the clamp and got sick. But when you start an abortion, you can't stop. You have to keep inventory. You have to make sure that you get all the pieces, all the arms, legs, internal organs, the head, all the rest of it. Because if you don't, and you leave tissue behind, your patient's going to come back infected, bleeding, or dead. So I soldiered on and I finished that abortion. And I tell people, I know it sounds strange, but I'm telling you it's for real. For the first time in my life, after all the years and all the abortions I had done, I really looked at that pile of body parts on the side of the table that I had just torn to pieces myself. And I didn't see her wonderful right to choose, and I didn't see what a great doctor I was helping her with her problem, and I didn't even see the $800 cash I just made in 15 minutes back then. All I saw was somebody's son or daughter. And after a whole lot of soul searching and difficulty after that, I quit.
Wow. Wow. That's something. I wanted to get you to explain again, because I don't think people can hear this enough so they understand it. The point you made in your discussion with Lila Rose about late-term abortions, and your point about the number of abortions, late-term abortions you've had to do to save a woman in a health crisis late in her term is 0. Explain that.
There are times abortion, if you want to call it that, is necessary. If a woman is 8 weeks from her last menstrual period and she has a tubal pregnancy's in the tube, not in the uterus where it belongs. Yeah. It's called an ectopic pregnancy. And you do an ultrasound and you see a beating heart, it makes no difference. You must treat the condition or she is going to die. Okay? So there are times what people would call a quote abortion are necessary to save her life. And that's probably one of the most common situations that we see. Ectopic pregnancies are actually very common. However, when you're talking about the vast majority of problems, when we talk about late abortions in the third trimester or second or third trimester to save her life, a baby is viable. That baby with proper care can live on the outside starting around 22 weeks. There are variations. Some kids who are earlier have made it. Some kids who are later haven't. But around 22 weeks, little over halfway through her pregnancy, that child can live on the outside on its own with proper care. Okay, it's viable. The vast majority, and I worked in a high-risk center, a high-risk university hospital in New York that took care of patients who were in serious trouble with their pregnancies. Cancers, severe heart disease, out-of-control diabetes, preeclampsia or toxemia of pregnancy, or many of your listeners know what this is. Typical situation. This is a real case. Woman comes in 27 weeks pregnant, way over the line of viability. Everyone knows, or many people know, that normal blood pressure is 120 over 80. Her blood pressure was 220 over 160. Okay, she was minutes or hours away from a stroke, right? Her pregnancy is going to kill her, okay? But you know what? It's the pregnancy that's dangerous to her, not the baby. It's the pregnancy. And if you want to save her life, you end the pregnancy, which is exactly what we did. We stabilized her. We did a cesarean section within an hour. She and the baby did just fine, okay? It's not the baby that's threatening the mother. It's the pregnancy. So when you have a crisis in pregnancy, and especially when it's past viability, which is when almost all of these situations occur, you do a delivery. And I did that for 9 years. I saved hundreds of women from serious problems in pregnancy, and I did not have to deliberately kill a single child in the process. However, we are told we need late-term abortion to save women's lives. Really? Let's go back to that patient. 220 over 160 blood pressure. If you wanted to do an abortion to save her life, a late abortion at that stage of pregnancy takes 2 to 3 days just to prepare the cervix so that you can do the abortion procedure. You know what? When somebody has a blood pressure of 220 over 160, you don't have 2 or 3 days to make up your mind and fix the problem. You've got hours. And this rubbish about how late-term abortion is necessary to save women's lives is just that, because it takes too long in the vast majority of cases where a real medical emergency is involved.
He is Dr. Anthony Levatino, OBGYN. Dr. Levatino, thank you so much for joining us and providing all of this illumination. This is really important stuff and well said. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Happy to help.
Also, too, just a note, the legislation in Illinois, if you want to maybe contact a legislator and say, don't support the bills that we described at the outset of our conversation, House Bill 2495 and House Bill 2467, those are the two bills to make Illinois more pro-abortion, more pro-infanticide than it already is.
And the doctor joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is a paid political announcement. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Under current Illinois state law, you can lose your home if your real estate taxes are 8 months past due. 50,000 Cook County property owners learned that the hard way this year. People facing financial hardship can't afford to pay the taxes, can have their properties sold for a fraction of the value of the property. As your mayor, I would change that.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
All right, let's do it. Let's get healthier. Let's stay healthy. Of course, I'm talking about balance of nature. On Valentine's Day, don't get chocolates. Get something that will help you, that will keep you healthy for the entire winter. And that's Balance of Nature. It has 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies in a capsule. It'll help boost your immune system. You've heard the testimonials on the air, and I can tell you they are true. I spent time with Dr. Douglas Howard, the founder and creator of Balance of Nature. He showed me the emails, played the voicemails from real people who use Balance of Nature on a daily basis. They're healthier, they stay healthy, and that should be you. Don't wait another day. Try it now before you get sick. You can get 35% off by using the promo code Chicago. So go to balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago, for 35% off your first set of fruits and veggies from Balance of Nature. Or call this number, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs. Get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat, you do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to Kevin Erdman. He's the author of a new book, Shut Out, How a Housing Shortage caused the Great Recession and crippled our economy. A little housing policy at 8:38.
But first, let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Skies are gray, 40 degrees, 8:31 is our time. More Americans are filing for unemployment benefits. The Labor Department reporting this morning there were 239,000 first-time claims, up from 234,000 in the previous week. Some of those could be blamed, according to experts, on the partial government shutdown. Andrew McCabe claims justice officials discussed whether the vice president and cabinet could push for the removal of President Trump from office under the 25th Amendment. In an interview with CBS News 60 Minutes, former FBI Director McCabe saying those talks did take place during the 8 days between the firing of then FBI Director James Comey and the appointment of a special counsel. Congress will likely pass a bill that's over 1,100 pages long, try and fund the government and prevent another shutdown. It's unclear whether President Trump will sign that measure, but he has said he'd like to avoid another shutdown.
But we have not gotten it yet. It'll be sent to us at some point, and we'll take a very serious look at it.
Legislation finalized late last night includes $1.4 billion for fencing along the southern border. Investigators say they found no evidence that students from Covington Catholic High School responded with any racial statements to anyone during a school trip to Washington, D.C. The Kentucky students were at the center of a viral video after Native Americans had an encounter with the school kids during a March for Life rally last month. An Illinois congressman is headed to the southern border with Mexico, along with the rest of his Air National Guard unit. Adam Kinzinger represents the state's 16th district. He'll serve active duty as a lieutenant colonel. We'll be watching with interest today. Odds may still favor the eventual construction of former President Barack Obama's $500 million museum and library, but possibly not in a public park along Chicago's lakeshore. It's no longer a sure thing in the face of a formidable legal challenge by a parks advocacy group. U.S. District Judge John Blakey will hear arguments today in Chicago on a key motion by city attorneys to try and toss that lawsuit by Protect Our Parks. Chicago sports, Otto Porter Jr., 37, in the Bulls' 122-110 win against the Grizzlies at the United Center. Blackhawks host New Jersey tonight. College hoops tonight, it's the Fighting Illini battling Ohio State in Columbus. Last night, Northwestern lost to Rutgers, 59-56. The news service of Helzberg Diamonds. Today is Valentine's Day. What gift are you getting for the one you love? Save $400 on the half-carat total weight diamond heart pendant. Now only $299.99. Show Cupid who's boss this Valentine's Day at Helzberg Diamonds. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I believe that your company has the answer because I've been through cancer treatment and knowing what it does to the body, and oh my, if that's all that medical science has to offer, there must be a better way, and I think the better way is knowing what to eat and getting it. I do notice that I have less inflammation. I feel like when I'm taking Balance of Nature, I'm getting fruits and vegetables more than what I would ordinarily get. I like when I open up the bottles, you can really smell the fruits and vegetables. I mean, I know I'm getting fruits and vegetables.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 20% off any first preferred order of Balance of Nature and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hopefully your home's heating survived the recent polar vortex. It's important to have a heating and cooling company you know you can depend on. That company is the original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling. They aren't one of those massive companies with newer techs and subcontractors. Oh no, Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling send only their own highly skilled techs. From service to installation and everything in between, the work quality and customer service is the best. For 40 years, the original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling has kept homeowners and business customers comfy and warm in the winter and nice and cool in the warmer months. Don't call the big guys, call the best. Call Carrie at 847-545-1700 or visit arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.net. That's Carrie at 847-545-1700 or online at arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.net. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, not the biggest, just the best.
Come on, kids, we're late.
Honey, the car won't start.
Mom, the dog just sat on my science project.
Life can be stressful, but getting life insurance shouldn't be. That's why there's Ethos. Ethos is a modern kind of life insurance that's super fast, incredibly affordable, and very uncomplicated. At GetEthos.com, there are no medical exams for policies covering under $1 million, no hours of paperwork or meetings with pushy representatives. It only takes 10 minutes to apply, and you can rest assured knowing you've taken steps to protect your family. And in most cases, with Ethos, you can have that peace of mind for less than a cup of coffee a day with no hidden fees. Having life insurance can free you from stress. Getting life insurance shouldn't cause it. Discover how uncomplicated life insurance can be at Ethos. Get your free instant quote and submit your complete application in minutes. Just go to getethos.com. That's ETHOS. Getethos.com. Getethos.com.
It is 8:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonti.
Kennedy inbound traffic is jammed. Foster to the Burns Circle. The drive time is an hour and 4 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 48 minutes from Montrose. 36 on the Express. Outbound 41 to the airport. Eden's 20 minutes. Like Cook to the Junction. Outbound 34. Eisenhower. Looking at an hour and 5 minutes, 390 to downtown, 43 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 50 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. Ryan is 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 27 minutes, siding to the merge, Bishop Ford 40. Southbound Tri-State delays are 132 to Bradley. Northbound Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Edwards Memorial from Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. It's traffic. I'm Jim Halamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, cloudy, mild, a shower in spots, high 44. Currently, we have 39. Next news coming up at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
This is my gift to humankind. People will pay good money for my knowledge.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we've talked a bit about this, but not recently, amid some concerns about a housing bubble being reblown up. Fannie and Freddie bigger and badder than they were before the bubble burst in 2008. The Great Recession ensued.
Familiar with what happened.
Of course, Michael Lewis made a bunch of money with The Big Short. But is everybody missing an important piece of the story with respect to housing policy that predated and precipitated the Great Recession? There's a new book by Kevin Erdman called Shutout, How Housing Shortage caused the Great Recession and crippled our economy. Not Fannie and Freddie, not lending to signature loans, lending to people who couldn't pay back, not the HELOCs to buy the second home that you couldn't afford. So not loose lending that gave rise to more government bureaucracy like CFPB. And not Fannie and Freddie, but a housing shortage, policies that created a housing shortage, particularly in two trouble spots. For more on his book and his research and his perspective, we're pleased to be joined by Kevin Erdman. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, as I mentioned, you got Michael Lewis weighing in. We've talked to Bethany McLean, who wrote the book on Shaky Ground about where Fannie and Freddie is a decade after the crash. But your perspective is different. Not too much building or too much lending to low-income people, or even much to say about Fannie and Freddie. Restrictive housing development laws was the main culprit. Explain.
Yeah. So during the boom, there were loose lending terms. There was there were some deregulatory things that happened that allowed credit to be loose. But did the effect that had anything to do with what became the bubble? It was mostly allowing people in places like San Francisco and LA and New York City and Boston that actually have really high incomes that can afford to live in those cities to bid up the housing in those cities, and that created the core of the bubble. Now that created a secondary bubble, which was actually a whole bunch of people moving out of those cities because they couldn't afford to live there anymore. And that ends up overwhelming places like Florida and Arizona and Nevada. Now Chicago sort of didn't have such a big problem as those cities. Chicago does a bit of a better job allowing new building. But yeah, the core of it is actually lack of building. And I think if you think about, today, this housing affordability issue is, it's getting to be a big conversation again. And you think about cities like San Francisco today, people there aren't mad because poor people are moving in that can't afford houses that are being tricked into mortgages they can't afford, right? They're mad because people with high incomes are moving in and bidding up the rents and the prices and forcing people out. So I think we all see that happening today. And really what I found is actually that was happening in 2005 also. And that was really the core of what triggered the whole event.
And so, how does, just going back to Fannie and Freddie and some other policies that perhaps from your perspective at least had a multiplier effect or an amplification effect, Fannie and Freddie, the moral hazard for loose credit and for risky lending that Fannie and Freddie create. How does that factor in your analysis?
Really, I didn't have a strong opinion about Fannie and Freddie going into this project, and really this project for me was sort of an accident of just finding some of this data that seemed to turn a lot of these conclusions upside down, and so I just kept following my nose down the path of sort of finding this new story. But really, Fannie and Freddie were very counter-cyclical. I've actually come out of this whole process with a much higher opinion of them as a public institution. During the height of the boom, they actually were losing market share at a pretty incredible rate to these new, those new private markets with subprime and alt-A loans that were happening. So really, Fannie and Freddie, in just about every way, come out looking pretty good. Their default rates were low compared to all the other conduits, and really, at the end, what I think happened was they were trying to come in and fill in the gaps in 2007 and 2008 when all the other forms of lending had collapsed. And the biggest mistake we made through the entire bubble was not allowing them to come back in and sort of let mortgage lending, continue to be somewhat healthy. And most of the foreclosures that happened, most of the loss of home equity in working class households, working class homes, happened in that 2009 to 2012 period. And that was actually a late effect that basically happened because we cut back on lending to the low end. And in fact, extra lending to entry-level borrowers was never the cause of the bubble in the first place.
Well, everyone keeps saying that within the next year or 2 years, the housing market's going to collapse again, because if you look at the charts, we go up, go down, go up, go down. Do you think that that's going to happen?
No, I think it's a very different landscape today. And I think one of the things that's really important to think about carefully in terms of housing affordability is the difference between rental value and price. And really, when we think about supply and demand, it's rent. It's the cost over a period of time of what it takes to put a roof over your head. And the home is the service is the capital that provides that service. But a lot of times price and rent sort of move in the opposite direction. And in fact, that was happening in 2004 and 2005 during the bubble time. Really what the bubble was doing, even though prices were really high in some cities, and so it seemed excessive, it was actually helping to fund new houses. Since we can't build enough houses in LA and San Francisco and New York City and Boston, it was actually helping to fund households moving out of those cities and building in the other cities we can build. And those households that were moving out of those cities were actually moving away to lower their housing costs. So in most of the country, rents were actually moderating during that time, even though in these pockets, prices were going really high. So it's different today because we cut off lending for a decade to such an extent that we're not building enough houses anywhere anymore. Rents in every city now are going up faster than the regular rate of inflation. So today the affordability problem is due to the actual cost of the houses, due to the actual value of the cash flows that house can create. And so it's the opposite situation. We actually need more houses today, much more than we did then. So we're really not anywhere close to overheating. In fact, if we let the housing market overheat today, it would actually be good, and it would actually eventually lower home prices because eventually we would let those rents start to moderate.
Well, so in this environment, then, where you've got people moving south and west in greater and greater numbers, you see explosions in places like Nashville and Dallas and Austin and Charleston and throughout Florida, Scottsdale, Phoenix area. Are the states that are losers in the migration, like Illinois and California and New York, could they be the repositories of the quote-unquote contagion cities that you described in 2008 that were in Arizona, Nevada, and Florida? Could it be reversed geographically as well in terms of leading indicators?
I don't see, the thing that I think a lot of people missed during the housing bubble was there was a real migration event. And I haven't seen that level of migration yet today. Now, part of the problem is those numbers tend to be a little bit delayed. So it's a year or two later before we see what's really happening. But the key part of that the migration back then was, it's really a perverse sort of position that we put ourselves in as a country, and it's actually really a key factor in like income inequality and all these things that that have become problems in the economy. Is that because those cities have such a hold on housing growth, and they sort of cap their populations, but they're also really the key economic centers along with Chicago to sort of tap into the new post-industrial global economy. People would like to move there for work, and incomes there are growing faster than they are anywhere else, and they're higher than they are anywhere in most other places. And so we had this perverse migration that was very highly correlated against income. Like people were moving to places with lower incomes, which is really weird. It's a reversal of any past experience we have.
Lower incomes, but significantly lower cost of living.
Exactly. So instead of moving to places with opportunity and places aspirationally, we're actually moving for compromise to lower costs, but also lower our ability to be productive and to earn a higher income. So I don't see that sort of correlation happening yet today. I mean, we sort of solved the wrong problem though. Before we were actually partly solving that problem by building houses in other places and allowing people to make that move and lower their costs. Today, they're not making that move because it's so hard for so many people to get mortgages that we can't fund that move anymore. And so they're sort of stuck in the places with high costs. So it actually would, to a certain extent, would be good news to see a little bit of that flow happening again. But the best news would be if we could somehow induce New York and Boston and LA and San Francisco to build houses at a higher rate so people could just live there and earn the high incomes that are available. And as I said, Chicago, at the metro area level, they seem to be doing a decent job. They didn't have quite that signature of extremely high costs, extremely high out-migration, and they build houses at a higher rate than those other cities.
Well, in the last decade, that out-migration has changed significantly in Chicago, Illinois leading the nation in out-migration, and Chicago a big part of that. But yes, I take your point. It's really interesting. I'm looking forward to getting into your book a little bit more. I became aware of it through Tyler Cohn's Marshall Revolution blog, and if Tyler Cohn is intrigued by it, then it's intriguing. He's Kevin Erdman. The book is Shut Out, How a Housing Shortage Caused the Great Recession and Crippled Our Economy. Kevin, thanks for joining us. Good luck with the book.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com. The most popular days to get engaged are Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day. And guys, finding the perfect wedding venue can be harder to figure out than the color and quality of the perfect diamond. With love in the air, Avante Banquets is here to help you plan the wedding of your dreams for the party of a lifetime at a price right for you. Avante Banquets is part of the family-owned Chicago Prime Restaurants, with a picturesque location opened just last year near Barrington, providing fine American dining and a timeless experience. experience. Avante is an exceptional space for your wedding or corporate events and fundraisers, for an intimate gathering, or parties of 500 or more. The calendar is filling up, so secure your date today at AvanteBanquets.com. That's AVANTE Banquets.com. With wedding packages starting at just $39 a person. Experience exceptional hospitality with the Calcunos family at Avante Banquets, because classic never goes out of style. AvanteBanquets.com. AvanteBanquets.com.
Hopefully your home's heating survived the recent polar vortex. It's important to have a heating and cooling company you know you can depend on. That company is the original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling. They aren't one of those massive companies with newer techs and subcontractors. Oh no, Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling send only their own highly skilled techs. From service to installation and everything in between, the work quality and customer service is the best. For 40 years, the original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling has kept homeowners and business customers comfy and warm in the winter and nice and cool in the warmer months. Don't call the big guys, call the best. Call Carrie at 847-545-1700 or visit arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.net. That's Carrie at 847-545-1700 or online at arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.net. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, not the biggest, just the best.
Another school year is about to wrap up, and you need to start thinking about what activities your son or daughter will be involved with during summer break. You want them to have fun this summer, but at the same time have some structure to be prepared for the next school year. Introduce them to St. John's Northwestern Experience in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin with summer OPS, opportunities for personal success. 5 intensive weeks of learning and training. Young men and women grades 7 to 12 get an opportunity to advance academically in the structured and supportive environment of a military boarding school, and at the same time be involved in an exciting summer adventure camp that inspires personal growth through a commitment to excellence in academics, leadership skills, spiritual and character development, and athletics and wellness. Camp St. John's Northwestern for your son or daughter with full boarding or day camp programs. Get more info at 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET or online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
AmericanEagle.com has been fortunate to develop thousands of business websites over the past 15 years. Businesses just like yours. Don't think because they advertise on the radio and mention big clients like Portillo's, WeatherTech, and Dairy Queen that they won't give your small to medium-sized business the same great service. Small and medium-sized companies are a huge part of AmericanEagle.com's clients. AmericanEagle.com's continued success is because they're capable of a wide range of projects from small to extremely large. They view all clients as long-term partners on every internet endeavor. When you're looking for an experienced and reputable partner for any of your internet-related projects, consider AmericanEagle.com. They'll likely be able to show you a project they've already done that's similar to what your company needs. AmericanEagle.com, the only name you need to know for website development, hosting, and maintenance. You can reach AmericanEagle.com on the web or at 773-NETWORK. That's 773-NETWORK.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It was early last week that I felt as though there was going to be a cold coming on. What I did is increase my intake schedule earlier in the day, and 2 days later, all symptoms gone. And that was my first real battleground test to see, okay, let's see what this can do. Outside of that, I feel better all health. I noticed another lift that says, yeah, this stuff is coming on. I've had people come up to me and say, hey, you know, are you brainwashed by this? I said, no, nothing like that whatsoever. I said, it just simply works.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 20% off any first preferred order of Balance of Nature and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hello, I'm Matthew Hickey from the law office of Matthew J. Hickey. In my 21 years of practice, I've seen a lot, learned a lot, and know who does what best. So, if you have a criminal matter from traffic issues to potential prison time, I'm your guy. If you or a loved one has been hurt, or worse, and you don't want to call a firm whose namesake faces a second federal trial in April, give me a call. My network of attorneys with years of experience and millions recovered will listen, inform, and help you through a difficult time. and are in no way affiliated with any ex-aldermen, soon-to-be federal inmates. You shouldn't have to compromise your principles when you need help. The justice system is designed to intimidate you. I'm here to even that score.
For ethical, informed legal representation, call Matt directly at 312-767-7631. That's 312-767-7631. Or go to his website, MatthewHickeyLaw.com, and send him an email. Remember, the best defense is the best defense attorney.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here, so what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right,
Get mushy gushy on us.
listen up. Valentine's Day message. Saint Valentinus was martyred in 269 AD by Emperor Claudius Gothicus
The year you were
for
born.
defying him and marrying soldiers. So, hey, fellas out there, the least you could do for Saint Valentinus from Rome
Hey, I got a guy.
is express your love for your wife or girlfriend today.
Busting my onions
How about
over
that?
here.
All right? Here's my Valentine's Day message. Won't you be mine?
See you back here tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Now here's Mike Scott.
Falling ice leads to street closures in Chicago. The former home of Capone is up for sale. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
He's a puppet for leaking James Comey.